Ringo TV Reactions. Back at you again with another one. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. Continuing our conversation with Stephen Twitch Boss case, Zachary, Twitch's cousin, breaks his silence after 2 years of being under the fear of Allison Holker. Yeah, that's right. So now, after 2 years, the cousin wants to come forward to speak. We're going to hear what he got to say and see exactly how this ties into the case, because we want to uncover the truth of what really went wrong and why the family was silent for 2 years. You know, Zach, he said a lot in this video clip that we have to uncover and break down because it says the truth. Now, when it comes to Twitch's family, there's a lot of red flags. You know, they have a GoFundMe that's up, and it's not really doing too well, you know. And there's a reason why. It's because while the family is trying to cash in, they're not focused on the justice for Stephen Twitch Boss. They're focused on their emotions. And I get it. At the same time, it's kind of too late. And everyone that donated wasted their money. You know, I don't recommend anyone that follow my platform to send not $1 to this cause, because this GoFundMe is not going towards any investigation. It's not going towards anything regarding justice for Stephen Twitch Boss, because after all, the family don't believe that Twitch was murdered. They don't believe that. And that's why I cannot support them. I actually don't even trust them, to be honest with you, because when we're dealing with murder, when we're dealing with a case like this, right, you never know who did it. You really never know who was involved or who had any involvement in terms of gaining something. Could have been jealousy, hate. You never know. We took you through multiple videos showing you that Manny Cross is a fraud. We showed you that he was, clout chasing off of Twitch in order to gain followers. Now on his Instagram, he's trying to sing to get attention. It's just really bad all around. Like these guys are opportunists. Now, the family starting this GoFundMe was a bad move, because once they did it, the public assumed that this had something to do with them taking legal action against Allison Holker, because they believed that she may have had some sort of involvement in his death, perhaps to send her to prison. But no, it's not about that. It's not about that, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I can't support that. You know, the content that I make is for the enlightenment of the people, so that you can understand the magnitude of the problem, the suspects involved. Even Ellen DeGeneres have not made any public statements regarding anything. And she claimed that she loved Twitch. So you have to think about this. Like, okay, so Ellen didn't say nothing, right? She's quiet. She moved out the country, right? She's having a good time. I know she's aware of the book. I know she's aware of what the family is doing right now. How come Ellen DeGeneres don't foot the bill if she really loved Twitch? So you got to look at all of these different things, all these scenarios. You got to think about all of the people that claim they were Twitch's friend. You got to think about this. $250,000 is what the family needs so they could take legal action against Miss Holker, but for whatever reason, it's stuck at $21,000. And there's a reason why, because again, people are not dumb. There is really nothing the family can do at this point. Number one, the children belong to Miss Holker. They're her children. Twitch is dead. Even if Miss Holker lied in her book, even if she fabricated stories, right? Then the family can only sit back and do nothing because Twitch would be the one that would have to say something, but he's dead. You know, defamation of character. Twitch is dead. He can't defend himself if he's dead. And being that the family kept quiet for 2 years, it's just bad. It's like, you've been quiet for 2 years. That's a long time, a very long time to be quiet. Now, Zach claimed that he never signed an NDA. But my question to Zach is, if you haven't signed an NDA, why are you talking now after 2 years? I mean, you didn't have to worry about any lawsuits or anybody coming after you because, after all, you didn't sign any NDA. So why now? It's rather suspect, to say the least. And I personally don't trust Twitch's family. I just don't trust them. I'm sorry, I can't. I see too many red flags, too many things that are just not adding up. I mean, think about this, ladies and gentlemen. I've been on the case for 2 years, speaking on the death of Stephen Twitch Boss, investigating the entire story. And at no point did Twitch family ever reached out. They never was in my comments, never did anything. And it kind of wondered, like, I know you guys see it, but for whatever reason, they never responded. Instead, they went to Gail King and did a horrible job. You know, that interview with Gail was a horrible interview. It actually made Twitch look like a drug addict. It made him look like he had mental problems, because it just goes to show. I mean, even Mama Boss was saying she would like to read his journals. Like, why would you even say that over the air? No one should want to read his journals because it's nobody's business, right? If we're going to be mad at Allison Holker for airing out things found in his journal or alleged journal, because we don't even know if it even exists. But if it do exist, why would the Boss family, including his brother and mother, want to read his journal? That's rather suspect. It's none of your business what's in his journal. That's why it's a journal. It's not for you to know. You understand? So when we look at that, and then we factor in the fact that the brother, when asked a question on Gail King in regards to drugs, he basically said that Twitch used or tried things occasionally, recreationally. That right there was a red flag. Because if he's your brother and he's being accused in a book of being a drug addict, right? Why would you come on Gail and say, yeah, you know, my brother, yeah, I know about some of the things he tried. You know, he tried some things and occasionally. Why would you say that if you're his brother? Shouldn't you be your brother's keeper? Like, why would you air that out? So these are just a few of the red flags that is not adding up. So we're going to take a listen to Zach, hear what he got to say, find out what's going on, and kind of break this thing down. There's a lot of things in here that I got to cover. Been meaning to do this for a few days ago, but I was pretty much busy. But now I got time. I got time to talk, got time to review, and find out what's going on with Zach. Because he said a lot in this video here that speaks volumes. And I know that the family of Twitch is watching my content. Personally, right now, if they were to reach out to someone like me, I would ignore them. And I have my reasons, because at this point, I'm seeing certain methods being at play, and I don't like what I'm seeing. Like setting up a GoFundMe now after 2 years, it's kind of disrespectful to Twitch. It's disrespectful to his fans, because that should have been done on day one. Should have been done on day one. The day Stephen Twitch Boss died, the family should have been outraged, and they should have been crying out for an internal investigation regarding his death. No one in his family was speaking. No one in his family was talking. But now Zach want to come out claiming that he went to therapy, and all of a sudden now when he think about, oh, the official story claim that he took his life, it's just not sitting right with him now. No, you've been watching my videos, Zach. You've been watching all my content, Zach, and now you're being convinced that he was murdered. So by the pure fact, these are your thoughts as said in your video, right? I can't support what you're doing right now. I think that Twitch's family failed Twitch at this point. They failed Twitch because Ms. Holker has the upper hand right now. She has a book that is out, right? Amazon is posting a bunch of fake reviews with 5 stars. We all know the book is trash, but at the end of the day, business is business. So they're going to hire fake reviews to make others believe that the book is somehow beneficial to the community when it's really not, right? It's a sad case. But Ms. Holker knew what she was doing from the beginning, and the family kind of sat back and allowed it. And these are the things that really bother me, because I'm like, if you guys really loved Twitch, right? Why y'all didn't say nothing from the beginning? Why y'all went along with the narrative that the media put out? He's supposed to be your family, your loved one. You're supposed to know him. You're not supposed to stay quiet. You're supposed to be outraged by the fact that the media is saying he took his own life. The mama should have been on Front Street crying out, my son would never take his life. I just spoke to him. Because remember, guys, in the Gail King interview, I believe there was a section where Mama Boss claimed that Twitch texted her on the 12th of December, 2022. So now, if he spoke to you or texts you via text on 2022, on the 12th, a day before killing himself, allegedly, right? Why didn't you bring that out in the beginning? Why didn't you talk about that so that the fans of Twitch would band with you? See, what I'm seeing here is this. The family, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, right? Being that they sign NDAs, they cannot make any money from anything regarding Twitch in terms of books and various other things, because they basically sold their souls to see him at the wake or funeral, right? And it's as if though setting up the GoFundMe is like their way of getting a return. That's what I'm seeing. I just don't like it, because there's no legal action that is needed to be taken if it's not for his justice. If you're arguing over a book that Ms. Holker wrote, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time, because what are you trying to seek? For them to rewrite history? The book is already selling. So what is going to be done? You're gonna have the book pulled from the shelves? It's too late. So this is a money grab, in my opinion. And it's sad that I got to say this, but I got to say this because it's the truth. I just can't see what's the purpose for setting up a GoFundMe for $250,000. That's a lot of money. $250,000 for legal advice? For what? What's the end game? What do you stand to gain from this? What exactly are you trying to get? Money? Come on. We're supposed to be fighting for the justice of Twitch, not money. Listen, you're not supposed to be compensated for anything. Twitch is the one who lost his life, not you. So it's disgusting to me. It's disgusting because, number one, the family never reached out to the fans of Twitch, right? The fans of Twitch is who the family should have been reaching out to. They should have been reached out to me. I would have been glad to have them on the platform where they can discuss what they need to discuss. They could have been sharing all their thoughts uninterrupted, unfiltered, unedited. Everything would have been let loose. And they would have been able to share their truth without me trying to silence them in any regard. I wouldn't even do that. Because remember, this is about Twitch's justice. So I would give the family room to speak. But they went to Gail King. Do you know that the Gail King interview was fully edited? Do you know there's certain things about the Gail interview that was taken out? Certain things the family may have said that they never published. The Gail interview was nothing more than a monkey wrench to make Twitch look like he was tweaking the whole time. And they weaponized his own family against him, but the family can't see that because they believe by them going to Gail seeking help, because that's what Gail said. Gail said that the family reached out to her. And I'm like, wow, out of all people, you reached out to Gail? Come on now, you ain't see what she did to R. Kelly? You ain't see the way she was grilling R. Kelly and made Kelly crash out, making him look more like a villain? So her job was to destroy R. Kelly. But when it came to Allison Holker, what did Gail King say? Gail said the interview between the Boss family and her is not going to be a let's bash Miss Holker interview. Right there, I already saw what it was. Because if we're not going to bash or criticize or talk about, Allison Holker, what are we here for? What are we here for? What are we talking for? Because we already know the allegations. We already know what the book says. We already know about the evil and ugly things she had to say about Twitch. Again, in her book, it talks about how Twitch, and this is what Miss Holker said, Matter of fact, let me get it for you. Give me a minute. Let me get that for you. Right? Let's go to chapter 13 again, because we talked about this multiple times. And it's just really sad. It's just really sad, guys. Really, really sad. On page 147 of the book, right? Chapter 13, a staggering discovery, right? You have to understand how sick this is. And this is coming from Miss Holker herself. She said, when combing through Stephen's journals after his death, I gained a sickening clarity, if not a concrete sense of why he did what he did. So in other words, what she's saying is she figured out why Twitch took his life. Let's read on. A few of his entries would allude to sexual abuse he endured as a child at the hands of an adult male, a trauma he detailed in strict confidence to his friend, who relayed the conversation to me only after Stephen's death. So now the question you have to ask as the public is, who was this friend that would relay this dark, traumatic story of Twitch allegedly being abused by an adult male? Why would this friend come out of nowhere, right, and tell this to Allison after Twitch is dead? Who is this friend? What is their name? Right? Is it Manny Cross? Was it the other gentleman that was featured on the Ellen DeGeneres show, in whom Miss DeGeneres said was Twitch's best friend? Who was this friend? Is what the people should be asking. Right? So it goes on and it says, I don't expect I'll ever have a definitive answer, but from what he wrote on the pages, I couldn't help but wonder, did the abuse happen when he was roughly the same age as Maddox? Did becoming a biological father delodge those buried memories of his childhood abuse? And did he worry that he was somehow fated to do to his son the same monstrous things that had been done to him? This is what Allison Holker wrote in her book. In other words, she basically said Twitch killed himself because he thought he was going to sexually abuse his own son. So in other words, to prevent the abuse that was allegedly done to him, allegedly, Allison is suggesting that Twitch took his life because the demons he was battling was gonna make him violate his son viciously in a sexual manner as he was done allegedly. That's basically what she's saying. That's crazy, right? So it goes on in the book and it says, what I can't understand is Stephen sat quietly at one of our mutual friends who had been sexually abused as a youngster by an adult figure whom they unabashedly loved, shared the details of the abuse and the difficulties they had reconciling the goal with the guardian. Stephen was sympathetic and supportive as always, but he never let on that he might be able to relate to the horrors. In other words, Allison is suggesting that when Twitch was there with a friend and that friend was disclosing some personal information regarding sexual abuse, that Twitch never comforted that person by saying, look, I understand exactly what you're going through because I've been there. That's what she's basically saying in the book, which is very, very alarming to say the least. So it goes on and it talks about, let's see where we at. Stephen was sympathetic and supportive as always, but he never let on that he might be able to relate to the horrors. But it was there, in his journal pages, not spelled out explicitly, but expressed in so many words and doodles that, now you have to keep in mind, she said these things weren't spelled out explicitly, which means it wasn't said straight, but it was like in doodles or suggested. So she's not really giving clarification on what was going on because she's making up the story as she go. But it goes on and it says, Stephen might have killed himself. Now, this is in her book, page 148. Stephen might have killed himself because he thought he was protecting us from an even more horrifying act he thought he might be capable of. That is the most evil thing a widow could say about her ex, or her late husband, I should say. Imagine that. Now, I'm the one who published that on social media by talking about that. You're going to hear Zachary mention that in this video here. So now let's take a look at the clip. I said all of that because I want to set up the stage so you can know where Zach is getting the information from. Because remember, this book with Allison Holker have about 230 plus pages, right? So there's no way that Zachary went through that whole book. He only focused on one section, which is the section that I covered on my platform. You understand? And there's many more things in the book that I haven't even talked about yet. But let's get into the tape. Let's review what he had to say and break this thing all down. You'll hear a couple of bleeps because he was using the S word. Y'all know what the S word is when you take your life. So I had to bleep that a couple of times, and I have to do it manually while I'm streaming. So let's get into this thing. Let's roll the tape.
Hey, everybody. I just want to come on here and say a few things. I feel compelled to say some things, so I want to get into it. First of all, I want to give a shout out to CBS and Gail King for delivering a platform for us to speak. I know Connie and Dre did an exceptional job speaking on the family state of mind and the sentiments that we felt for the past 2 years, things that they've had to endure, dealing with Stephen's widow and just the whole NDA, everything. I think it's difficult to speak in a public setting to the world, especially when it's not something you're accustomed to doing. So I just want to give a shout out to them for their willingness to put themselves in that vulnerable state and deliver their information. I think they did so with dignity, with class, with respect. I think they were very mindful of their Stephen's widow and his children. I think it's an interview they can be proud of for years to come. And I just want to give them some kudos for that. I think there's people, and rightfully so, that would wonder, hey, you know, why is the family speaking out all this time? You know, it's been 2 years. And I think I was just compelled to give some context surrounding that. And first of all, let me clear up the air too. I did not sign an NDA, so I'm one of the few that didn't sign an NDA in the original at the wake. So I've been a little bit more forthcoming with information, just because I did not have the psychological association with signing a piece of paper that would make me not be able to speak about events that have happened. So when I talk, I do so a little bit more freely and not under the premise that I'm going to be sought after for the things that I'm saying. And I find it insulting that to be able to speak your mind, that somebody would be able to cause injury for that. So especially, you know, for what we have done. We've been very respectful and mindful. And sometimes when you speak your truth, if you live in your life in such a horrible way, the truth is going to sound like an attack. And that's sad. That speaks volumes about your character, not ours, right? So, so there are people that, you know, probably would ask the question, did y'all feel that Stephen committed suicide, or that there was foul play? And if you did feel like there was foul play, why didn't you say anything? So let me kind of touch on some of that and provide some context for those questions. So I hope I can say this in a way that would bring about clarity and close off some of these topics. So first of all, when Stephen died, the information that we received about his death basically indicated that there was a gun, there was a suicide, there was a body, and that he checked into a hotel, he went in, never came out. There was a supposed police report that indicated, you know, that the police were called, that there was a missing person, all these things. So there was details surrounding it that corroborated this story, right? So we're just regular folk. We not know, you know, Stephen was a celebrity, and honestly, Stephen was regular folk too, but he just was very talented, and, you know, he's a humble kid, you know, that became a man, and you know, just a good dude. Anyway, so for regular people that are getting this information, there's not much you can go on when you have this information outside of you just feeling the way that you do. So when you're left with your emotions, if your emotions are the ones that are telling you that there's foul play and there's no evidence to support that foul play, what are you going to tell the attorneys? What are you going to tell, you know, what is your course of action? Well, naturally, you want to get the facts. Now, for me, his mother is there. What remains of Stephen? Stephen's kids. Okay, so Stephen's kids are here. His mother wants to maintain a relationship with his kids. At this point in time, the most important thing that we have is our family, and we want to rally around our family so that they can, you know, especially her, she's the mother of Stephen, so we want to make sure that she's able to continue to foster that relationship. Collectively, it was important that we protected her ability to do so. So regardless of what we felt emotionally, it was not to anybody's benefit to go and do the things that that you probably think are just so natural to do. I would have done this and I would have done that. And I understand that, because I was the dude that wanted to do exactly what you're saying, and I wanted to fly off the cuff and do everything that you're saying. However, there are people that would advise against that. So I'm of the mindset that do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But if you treat me poorly, you're not going to have an opportunity to do anything to me. I'm going to disarm you, and I'm not going to allow you to put me in the same position. Well, being that, you have children involved and people that want to foster a relationship, Connie and the brothers, Dee and Cameron, are at the mercy of Stephen's widow. So at this point, when it comes to trying to figure out how to move, everything is predicated on preserving that relationship. So at that point, it's not about Zachary, it's about them. So I have to do the work, and I have to come to terms with the fact that there's a high probability that Stephen committed suicide, and that I didn't want to accept that. So I go to therapy, I go to counseling, I do all these things, and so now I'm at the place mentally that suggests that, okay, Stephen committed suicide, but nothing in me believed that. I've never, just something within me that there's never nothing that said, yeah, I know. So anytime I ever discuss Stephen's supposed suicide, I would say reported to have committed suicide. Because for me, that would be an indication that I wasn't lying. It was reported that he committed suicide. But every time that I would say he committed suicide, every time you say a person commits suicide, it's another buy-in to the fact that that's what happened. It's almost like a narrative that you received that he committed suicide. Well, how can you prove that someone committed suicide? Well, according to what we have, it's the note, right? That shows the intent. It's the gun. That shows the capability. And it's, so at the end of the day, these are the things that we've had to wrestle around with in our head. And, it's difficult to navigate those if you're in the situation. But what isn't difficult to navigate is character. Over and over again, we've been able to witness the character of Stephen's widow. And at every opportunity that she's had to do something that would indicate innocence, there's an alternative reality. There's an alternative answer. And so the first order of events was the NDA. We're trying to come together to grieve the loss of a loved one, and there's an NDA that is backdated to December 13th. Well, initially the NDA was perceived as this is to protect his legacy, the boss legacy. As it plays out in the media, it was to prevent pictures from being leaking for the event. But if it's for the event happened in January. Why is the NDA backdated to December 13th? Well, it's to protect something. I wasn't aware of any ability to backdate an agreement, but it's to protect something. So when we look at the facts and we look at the character of the person that we're talking about, it begs the question of what else are you hiding? So when we read the memoir, there are things that we can speak to because we were there in the memoir, right? There's certain events that you can speak to that you saw. And so if you're lying about the things that we know about personally, then we know that you're a liar. So how can we then believe anything that you said? So I've witnessed the character of my family, which is gracious, which is to a fault. And I've witnessed the character of his widow, which is horrible, to the point to where we're introducing speculation about your husband, the possibility of him committing suicide to forego the opportunity to do an act against his own son, to put that into the world. And it sounds even crazy to have to even repeat that, but to put that into the world is the most, it's diabolical for you to do that. And there's no merit of truth to it. You just literally speculated in a book at the expense of your own kid. So if you're willing to do those things, if you're willing to go to those lengths, there's no telling what you're willing to do. So to that end, I don't trust you. And I believe at minimum, the due diligence for us, now that we've gotten to a place, and I'm grateful for it, we've gotten to a place to where we're able to now continue to respect Connie, and we're able to move forward as a unit to determine where your character meets reality. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm hoping that anybody that sees this and can see, it for what it is, that you be willing to, like I said, we're regular people. We don't have money to just, go out and obtain legal representation. That's why we established a GoFundMe. So if you're, one of those people that see this and you want to attach yourself to our cause, I'd ask that you donate to our GoFundMe, and so that we can seek resolution. And I think it's coming from a very warranted place. And I think it's going to uncover things that we never knew or never even thought we needed to search for. But in lieu of all the events that have transpired, I believe it's very necessary. So again, thank you for your support always. And we hate that things have come to this, but I believe it's very necessary. So continue to pray for us. And like I said before, we're standing for Stephen. We are the Boss Family United, and long live Stephen Lavelle Boss.
Now, based on the record of information that you just heard him talk about, I had to let it play entirely without me interrupting, because I want you to hear everything in context so that you can see that it is very clear that Zach watches my content. That's why I had to read chapter 13 in the book, so that you can see him literally repeat what I already covered. So now there's a couple of things we're going to have to talk about in regards to this, right? Number one, Zach said that he never signed an NDA. It's rather interesting, to say the least. So you mean to tell me, Zach, you never signed an NDA, but you stayed quiet for 2 years? And your excuse for staying quiet is because you claim that Mama Boss want to have a relationship with the grandkids. But Ms. Holker just recently released the book. So the question is, why wasn't there a relationship between Mama Boss and the grandkids before? Because before the book came out, there was no allegations of Twitch allegedly being on drugs. There was no allegations of sexual abuse. There was none of these things in the media. So what went wrong with the family? And why there was no relationship or communication between Ms. Holker and your family? So what this suggests is that this goes deeper. There is a serious family feud at play. And this is why I suggest to everyone, do not waste your time getting involved with this GoFundMe, because you may be fueling the fire of something that you don't need to be a part of. This GoFundMe have nothing to do with justice for Twitch. It has nothing to do with that. Everybody who donated to that, you just threw your money away. That's Ryan. You threw your money away. And I know some of you might say, but it's Twitch's mom, Ringo. I mean, where's your compassion? My compassion is focused on justice for Twitch, not for the family trying to get a money grab. It's very easy to do that because naturally people want to support the cause if they believe it's going to go to justice for Twitch, but the money's not going towards that. That's the problem. We got to learn how to separate our emotions from this situation, or we're going to get caught up in a family spat between two families that are in disagreement for various reasons that we may never know about. You understand? There could be a very serious reason why, right? Why, the family kept quiet all this time. I don't believe it's because, we wanted to preserve the relationship between the grandkids and Mama Boss. That's a lie. Been 2 years. So you mean to tell me none of y'all could have visited Ms. Holker? Remember in the audio that Twitch's fake friend Manny Cross put out there with Allison Holker on the video call, and Ms. Holker suggested that they could always come see the grandkids whenever they want. So why the family of Twitch didn't go out and see the kids? Where is your initiative in this? Well, why you're not taking any steps? Or are you waiting for Ms. Holker to do the work? Like, what's going on? Because this is not even about the book. We know the book is full of crap. We know the book have a lot of lies. We're going to cover a lot of these things in future videos. But the real issue is why Zachary was quiet for 2 years and he never signed an NDA. Why? And his excuse is that he did it to preserve the relationship between the grandkids and Mama Boss. But they never had a relationship because she haven't seen them, and she only seen them twice within 2 years, I believe, based on what we received in the public. To only see the grandkids twice out of a 2-year period, that's a long time. That's a prison sentence. Ms. Holker don't like your family, Zachary. Do you not understand that? She only tolerated you guys. The writing has been on the wall since the beginning. Your family and Ms. Holker never got along. That's the truth that y'all not saying. Y'all want us, the public, to believe that everybody was all happy, and no, it never was so. Y'all always had issues. And the reason why she tolerated you is because Twitch was around, and Twitch probably didn't tolerate her having a bad attitude towards his mama and family. But I'm pretty sure Ms. Holker never liked none of you. You understand? Because if you look at how she's treating Twitch in his death, it says a lot about how she feel about you. I mean, for a woman to suggest that her husband, her late husband, would kill himself because he feared that he was going to sexually abuse his own son is a sick thing to think in your thoughts. Like, why would you even come up with that? It's not like he wrote that in a journal. This is what she suggested in her book. And the question you have to ask is, why did Zachary even talk about that? Because he watched my content. And this is what I mean. Twitch's family, they watch my content. They watch the videos, but they don't acknowledge my work because they see me as an enemy. And if you see me as an enemy, then you should see all of Twitch's fans as an enemy. And this is why I cannot support their efforts with their GoFundMe. I would not ever send $1 because the work that I have uncovered regarding this case is enough evidence to shine a light on Ms. Holker, to shine a light on there was foul play at work. Stephen Twitch Boss was murdered. And we talked about this from day one, that Twitch was murdered. So the investigation need to be reopened in terms of the case of Stephen Twitch Boss, and the family is not fighting for that. That's the part that I don't understand. Why now? Why a GoFundMe now? It's not about a book. It's not about a book. This is a cash grab. This is a money grab, and I don't like it. You should be ashamed of yourselves. The entire Boss family should be ashamed because it took you 2 years to recognize that Miss Holker have issues. You talked about her character, Zachary. You talked about her character, that you're learning things about her character. Well, you should have been knew that from day one because you said that the NDA was backdated December 13th. So from December 13th, you already knew that there was a problem with Miss Holker because she was protecting something more, and that's Twitch's assets from you guys. She took all of his money and left the family of Twitch with nothing. She left the family of Twitch broke. And you guys signed your lives away just so that you can see Twitch, even though he was cremated. Make that make sense. You guys had ample amount of time to take it to social media to share your grievances regarding Miss Holker. It would have prevented any future books. It would have prevented any future deals. She would have been sabotaged. And it would have put the light on her to the point where the FBI and everybody would have got involved because they would have like, wait a minute now. Why is a widow acting so shady towards the family, especially towards the mother of the deceased? And they would have cracked the case open because they would have been under pressure from social media because all of Twitch's fans would have banned with Twitch's family if the family would have came forward from the beginning. Because Twitch have millions and millions of followers all over the world, all different kinds of people, white, black, Asian, you name it. Everybody was following this guy. He had an impact on a lot of people. He had an impact on the world. All throughout Hollywood, all throughout social media, a lot of kids knew who Twitch was. So if the family would have came out and spoke on these issues, the public would have banned with the family and supported them in seeking justice for Twitch. But from the beginning, the family never did that. The family believed the narrative that he took his own life. Once you believe the narrative that Twitch took his own life, you became an enemy of Twitch. Anybody at the sound of my voice that believed that Twitch took his own life, you're an enemy of Twitch. Because we cannot fight for the justice of a man that abandoned his own children. I can never respect a man that would take his life and leave his children behind to suffer. Somebody said, suffer in what way? They got money. Money is not everything, guys. If daddy is not there, the children suffers regardless because the father is not there to raise them and protect them. The father is not there to take care of his daughters, take care of his sons, to show them the way. So who's going to do that for them? So if we believe that Twitch took his own life, what legacy do he have? How could we say he was a good man? Good men don't kill themselves. Good men don't abandon their children. Good men don't leave their family in debt. Good men don't do that. Even the Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children. Do you see that? Even the Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Good men are always there to provide and protect. So how could we believe that Twitch took his own life? How? And why did the family believe that for so many years? This is a problem. First thing Zach did is he thanked Gail King for the interview. It was one of the worst interviews I've seen because I couldn't believe that his own brother threw him under the bus. Gail asked the brother about the drugs, about the addictions. And rather than his brother say, you know what, my brother never used drugs. My brother would have never did this. No, you know what he said? Oh, I know, I'm aware of the fact that Twitch, you know what I mean? He tried things, did things recreationally. You know, why would you say that? Why would you do that? Because you threw your brother under the bus. So what that does, it confirms that what Ms. Holker said in her book is true. So even if you guys are trying to set up GoFundMes because you want to take legal action against Ms. Holker, all they got to do is go back to the Gail King interview and play that section of the tape. All Ms. Holker's attorneys would have to do is play that section of the tape of the brother saying with his own words, yes, Twitch, oh yeah, I know about him trying certain drugs and using certain things recreational. Yeah, I know about it. And the judge would literally throw the case out. Why? Because that means Ms. Holker was right. Even if Ms. Holker lied, even if Ms. Holker lied about finding drugs in a closet in a shoebox, the courts will believe her. You know why? Because the family confirms it. And this is what I'm saying. That interview was horrible. It was horrible. To hear Mama Boss and the brother suggest that they would like to read Twitch's journals is disgusting. Because if it's his private journals, why your eyeballs need to see it? Why? You're being nosy. You're being messy. And what that tells me is you don't really know Twitch. Yes. You don't really know him like that. Because a mama knows her son. There is nothing that Twitch can write in a journal that mama don't already know. Every son, every daughter always talk to their mama about different things they wouldn't share with nobody. And mama always keep those things under wraps. So it brings into question what's really going on with the family. What's going on with the Boss family? And why would the Boss family even entertain someone named Manny Cross? Manny Cross, a fraud, a man who been an opportunist since Twitch died. A man who wasn't even at his wedding. A man who have no clue who Twitch really is. A man who wasn't there for Twitch. If he was such a best friend, how come Twitch didn't call him? How come Twitch didn't seek him for help? How come he wasn't there to talk to Twitch? Will Manny ever show us his cell phone records, his phone call records, so that we can all look to see when was the last time he spoke to Twitch? I guarantee you it'll tell you a different story. It'll tell you a story of a man that never spoke with Twitch. And this is why I say you got a lot of people that are fake friends. People that smile in your face and want to take your place. A bunch of damn backstabbers. You can't trust family or friends in these days. So when it comes to Twitch's death, because he was murdered, he did not take his life. He had too much to live for. He had 2 kids. He took on Allison's elder daughter as his own daughter. He took on that role. He had money. He wasn't broke. He had many deals. He made extra deals. He had other events and different projects in store. So he had a lot of things going for himself. You understand? That is not the position of a man that want to take his life. Like I said in my many other videos, homeless people live on the streets. They sleep in boxes, under bridges. They eat from trash cans. They beg. And you don't hear about them ever killing themselves. During the pandemic, while everybody was home from work, homeless people had no issues with the so-called C word. I don't know if any of you noticed that, but during the pandemic, you didn't see no homeless person talking about they got that C word thing that's going around. You didn't hear about homeless people saying they killing themselves because they just can't take it anymore. Now, how is it that a homeless person can live in the streets, in the cold, in the rain, in the snow, and never take their life? But yet you want me to believe that a man that had everything going for himself just couldn't be bothered anymore with society and say, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to end it all. No, he was murdered. He knew about something. Twitch was an activist. He spoke out about different things. And those are the things that Allison Holker did not like. Yes, it was an interracial marriage. Yes. But at the same time, these topics make certain people uncomfortable. And I believe personally that whenever Twitch would go to his IG and speak on issues relating to black people, it made Ms. Holker uncomfortable. Not only Miss Holker, but all the other agents that are around him. And they said to themselves, he gotta go. It could have been a situation where Allison Holker was committing adultery, had an affair on the side, and Twitch found out and decided, I'm going to get a divorce. And before he could do that, she decided, well, that won't happen because I'm going to kill you. And she set him up and put him to death. And the family of Twitch have not come forward to say a word about this. I don't see how could a family stay there and want us to uphold a legacy of a man they believe took his life. Think about what they're saying, guys, in the caption. Think about the caption on the GoFundMe. It says, help boss family. Help the boss family protect Stephen's legacy. How? How could we protect Stephen's legacy if the family believe he took his own life? Does that make sense? That don't make sense. You can't protect a legacy of a man that abandoned his children. He have no legacy no more, which means all the good he done has been undone. I've said this many times in older videos, guys. If I'm a so-called baseball coach, the community loves me. All the families in the community appreciate me. I'm like a father figure for all the kids, especially the kids that has no father. All ethnic groups of people, white, Asian, you name it, black, whatever it is, they all love me. You know why? Because I take all of the children under their wings, all of the sons, and I train them when it comes to baseball. I teach them everything about the sport. And the families love the fact that the kids are off the streets. They have activities. They're learning how to be a man. They're learning responsibility. And they just really appreciate the work that I'm doing in the community. And then one day, an allegation come up of abuse. And now that clean record that I once had has been tainted because of alleged abuse. Now the news media is publicizing this, claiming that the Little League baseball coach molested a young 9-year-old boy. And it's plastered all over the media. Everyone on social media is talking about it. Do you really think I'm going to have a legacy now? Do you really think that I'm this good guy? Do you really think if I say I apologize that it's going to all be washed away? No, the people are going to want to see me fry. They're going to want to see me burn in hell. You understand? So when a man takes his own life, he destroys his own legacy. These are things that we must understand. Twitch was murdered. He didn't take his life. It was a setup. He was most likely killed somewhere else and taken to the motel, and the body was placed there. The gun was placed there. The alleged note was placed there. Nothing Zachary said makes sense. Nothing. You understand? Because he never seen this note. So how did he believe it? He made you think that, to believe otherwise other than the official story would mean you're not telling the truth. No. How do you believe that your so-called cousin took his own life? Because the media told you there was a note? Because the media said there was a gun? How does that make it truth? That could be planted. That could be staged. You know how many people have been staged to have, they took their life and it's fake. Somebody plotted against them and made the world believe that that person took their own life. No. Twitch was murdered. Twitch was murdered. And now after 2 years, the family want to talk. Shame on you. Shame on you. Because I've been on the front line talking for 2 years. I never seen not one of the family members reach out to me. I never seen not one of the family members come into my comment section and say, hey, guy, really appreciate the work that you're doing, keeping my family member alive, focusing on justice for Twitch. Never have I seen any of them come forward. And now Zachary want to speak. And again, he never signed an NDA, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine that. This guy never signed an NDA, which means he had the ability to voice his thoughts, but he believed that by him staying quiet, it was going to help Mama Boss see the kids. Well, guess what? Within your silence, Mama Boss still isn't able to have a relationship with the kids. Why? Because once again, Miss Holker don't like none of you. It's time to move on. If you're not going to fight for Twitch, move on. Because she's never going to make you see those kids. Never. Because she don't like you. And by the pure fact that you guys started a GoFundMe, that only adds more salt into the wounds. Because now she's furious. Why? Because she's a narcissist. And when you make a narcissist angry, it's over. Never anger a narcissist. When a person is a narcissist, you cannot make them more angry because they're going to withhold the children. And as I stated many, many times, the children are in danger. The children of Twitch are in danger, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason why I say that is because of this. If the family of Twitch push for an investigation into his death, Miss Holker is going to get nervous. If the feds get involved and they start to dig up phone records, emails, cameras, and so on and so forth, and it finds that her story has contradictions, red flags, and the FBI begin to find the things that I've already found. Keep in mind, guys, if the feds got involved, all they got to do is look at my videos. They'll find a whole paper trail of information that'll point to Allison Holker. If they were to find her liable for something and start to investigate her, my prediction, she will take herself out and the children. I warned the public about this, but nobody's listening to this. If something happened to the children, guys, remember, I told you. Nobody's not listening to me. Twitch's family is not listening. I am telling you, those kids, they're in danger because they're around someone that allegedly took out their father. And if the woman in question took out her own husband, she'll take the kids out too. That's easy to do. You understand? And the only reason why she's able to benefit or even deal with those kids is because those kids are opening doors for her. Remember, when Twitch met her, she was a single mom. She was nobody. Twitch's legacy, Twitch's name. He made her. He built her up. Nobody was rocking with her. She don't dance better than Twitch. The only reason why the public accepted her is because of Twitch. And this is not even a white-black issue. Even white folk don't like her. They could see through her. You understand? They could see through her BS. You understand? Even they said the same thing. Because what wife would come in a book and say that, oh yeah, my husband, oh, he left me in debt. $1 million in unpaid taxes and this and that. Well, hold up. How is it that after he died, Miss Holker, you just now found out that he left you with $1 million of back taxes and debt? You were with him for 9 to 10 years. So you mean to tell me you didn't know about paying these things? You didn't know about any debts for 9 years? So you was just living with this man and was unable of your financial matters. So y'all had no financial advisor. Y'all had nobody controlling the books. Y'all didn't keep personal records of your spending or what you owe, or you didn't do no work as a wife. Right? Because in an interview that Miss Holker had on another platform, she said the day that Twitch died, the next following day, she went back to work to focus on deals and other business issues right after her husband died. What woman does that? What woman does that? How could you even focus on business deals after your husband died? Shouldn't you be mourning? But that's the whole point. She was waiting for him to die so that she can take over everything he owned. And this is why the NDA was backdated December 13, 2022. I mean, Twitch's family received these NDAs 3 days after he died. 3 days after he died. Come on now. How could Ms. Holker have an NDA drafted up 3 days after a man died, but backdated December 13, 2022? That's because it was already there. That's because it was already drafted by her attorneys. It was plotted, planned, premeditated. Twitch was murdered, guys. But Twitch's family is too slow to understand this. And this is why I got to make my content. And I know my content get under their skins, but at the end of the day, I got to do what I got to do because, again, I'm fighting for Twitch's justice. The family had ample amount of time to fight for his justice, and they dropped the ball. Now they're trying to have a cash grab through a so-called GoFundMe, claiming that they're trying to, take legal action against Ms. Holker over a book, right? But guess what? If it's over a book, why is Zach focusing on a relationship with the grandkids with Mama Boss? Because it's not about the book. They want you to believe it's about a book. The truth is this money is going into their pockets, allegedly. Because if this is about a relationship between grandma and the grandkids, starting a GoFundMe talking about legal action is going to only make Allison angry. And you can forget about a relationship with the kids after that. It's bad enough y'all all on social media talking. She's going to be upset. You guys should have had somebody else reach out to her who is possibly a mutual friend and whom she respects, so that that person can reach out behind the scenes, so that they can get the bridge built up, so that the family can communicate with one another. Other than that, if you guys are on social media talking, it's going to only burn those bridges down, because you have to think about something, ladies and gentlemen, and you got to think about this long and hard. You don't see Allison Holker. You don't see her on social media right now speaking against the Boss family. You don't see her doing it right now. The only time we heard anything is from the video or the audio tapes that Manny Cross released. That's the only time we heard anything from Allison Holker. And you might hear things in her interviews about her book. You understand? But other than that, you don't see her reaching out and taking shots back at the family based on what they said, because people like Ms. Holker don't like this kind of attention. Narcissists don't like accountability. My suggestion is for the family of Twitch to move on and forget about the grandkids. Forget about them. It's over. It is what it is. The only thing you can do right now is focus on justice for Twitch. That is what you should be doing, because the kids are going to have to grow up anyway. And when they grow up, they're going to learn everything. Ms. Holker did the kids bad, because guess what? When Twitch's son grows up and learn that his mother said that his father killed himself because he was afraid he was going to sexually abuse him, that's going to hurt the son. The son is going to be like, why would my dad kill himself because of that? And the son is going to want to do research. And guess what the son going to do? The son is going to find my videos. The son is going to find my videos, and the son is going to hear all this information. And the son is going to literally resent Twitch's family and his own mother, because both families, both sides are not really focused on these kids. Both of y'all are too busy arguing and fighting about the wrong thing. Who cares what she said in the book? The issue is, why isn't the Boss family reopening the case on who killed Twitch? It is very clear that Allison never loved Twitch. How much more you need to see? How much more you need to hear? Everything in her book regarding Twitch was negative. There was nothing positive about him in her book. Everything was to degrade him, to disgrace him, to destroy his legacy. Talking about signing an NDA. She needed to sign an NDA because everything she had to say about Twitch was negative. She did not protect his legacy in no way. Every word she said cut deep to the spirit. Everything she had to say about Twitch was negative. She made him look like an animal, like a monster. She exposed how she looked through his cell phone and found out he was meeting up with drug dealers. But did Allison report that to the police? No. Allison said she found drugs in shoe boxes. Did she report that to police? No. All of these claims that Allison Holker put out there in the media, did she reach out to the police? No. Well, what do you do with illegal drugs that you find in a box? So you didn't call the cops? You didn't report it to law enforcement so they could come check it out? Probably add that to the investigation. find out who the drug dealer was? I mean, if you look through his phone and found out that Twitch was about to meet up with a drug dealer, why don't you give that information to law enforcement so they can know who this drug dealer is? And how do you know he's a drug dealer? So you mean to tell me Twitch would write on his phone that he's meeting up with a drug dealer on his cell phone, knowing good and well that all of these cell phones are watched? You want us to really believe that, and you didn't give that information to law enforcement? Come on, people, be smart. Be smart. Don't make no sense. And shout out to Exandra for the support. Appreciate you sponsoring the work. I see you. Says, I feel the family and friends speaking out now are speaking from a guilty conscience because they failed Twitch boss. Yeah, that's exactly it. They're speaking out now and they're using emotional extortion to gain the sympathy of the people in order to give blindly. I've seen this method happen many times where people are emotionally invested in a particular person in whom they appreciate, like, support. They might be fans, whatever the case is. A lot of people support Twitch. They support what he do. So immediately once the family published that they have a GoFundMe, people are emotionally going to give just because. You understand? It makes them feel good about themselves. It makes them feel like they're doing something to help Twitch, but they're really not. It's called emotional extortion. That's what it's called. Emotional extortion. It's when a family pretty much use the death of a loved one to make people become emotional. And sometimes you may feel guilty because you figure, well, damn, I got to give some of my money because if I don't, then I'm not really a true fan of Twitch, not realizing that the money is not going towards any investigation for Twitch. If it was, I would donate. If the money was going towards an investigation where the family is reaching out to this person and that person, all these different people in law enforcement and the courts to reopen the case because they believe there was foul play, and you see the family moving heavy, oh yeah, I would support that. Especially if you see a news conference of the family with their attorney and they're talking about reopening the case. Oh yeah, I would support that. But I don't see that, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see that. And that bothers me. It bothers me to see the family literally gain over $21,000. And I don't see no attorney next to them. I don't see them on their IGs talking about, we already contacted an attorney. We're doing this. I don't see anything happening, guys. There's no updates. There's nothing. So what's really going on here? And the GoFundMe is not really going up at all, guys. Like, it's a long way to $250,000. Now, think about all the millionaires in Hollywood. Think about this, guys. Think about all the millionaires in Hollywood that knew of Twitch, and they all got money. They could easily foot the bill, but they don't. They don't even care. And this is what I keep telling you guys. A lot of times, once you die, all the people that you thought were your friends, they disappear. The only time they thought you was a friend was when you was alive and they were able to get something from you. But once you're dead and they realize they can't get nothing from you no more, all of a sudden now all support get pulled away. You know, all support get pulled away. And again, it's unfortunate that the grandkids won't have contact with Mama Boss as of late. But you have to really think about this, guys. There's a deeper issue going on within that family that they're not telling us. This is why you're not supposed to get involved, because this family neglected Twitch for 2 years. And again, I hold everybody accountable. I'm not a respecter of persons. I don't play those games. I am not a respecter of persons. Everybody must be held accountable. Twitch's family stayed quiet for 2 years. They never said a word. They failed Twitch. I've been saying this through all my content. Where is Twitch's family? why they're not speaking, why they're not talking, what's going on. And up to now, no one said a word, but all of a sudden now Zachary comes out and talk and tell us that, oh yeah, I never signed an NDA. So hold up, you never signed an NDA, bruh, but you haven't said a word? You could have been the spokesperson for the family for 2 years. Why weren't you speaking about the fact that Miss Holker wasn't making the grandma see the kids? You didn't say that 2 years ago. So what's really going on? What are you doing? Why now? Because you fear Miss Holker. You fear Miss Holker. Let's review the tape, guys. Let's review the tape because, again, I played it in its entirety for you guys so you can hear it uninterrupted so that you don't accuse me of starting, stopping. I wanted to let you hear him in his entirety so you know what's going on. But let's take a look at the tape.
Hey, everybody. I just want to come on here and say a few things. I feel compelled to say some things, so I want to get into it. First of all, I want to give a shout out to CBS and Gail King for delivering a platform for us to speak. I know Connie and Dre did a...
Think about what he just did right there. He shouted out Gail King and CBS for giving them a platform to speak. Brother, do you not realize you could have had a platform on Ringo TV? Do you not realize that? You went to the media so that you can speak. When a platform been here for 2 years fighting for the justice of Twitch and you never reached out. Make that make sense, guys. You know why the family of Twitch didn't reach out to Ringo TV? Because the family of Twitch think Ringo TV ain't shit. That's why. We got to keep it raw and uninterrupted and uncut because the truth is the truth, guys. A lot of times we would think that Twitch's family really have respect for others, but not black men. They don't. When they look at platforms like mine, they see it as, oh, here's a guy that's just talking about Twitch making money. Well, CBS is making money. CBS have the interview with Twitch family literally up into 300,000 views. They're getting a heck of a lot of money off these videos. But you don't got a problem with that. You don't got a problem with CBS making ad revenue off of the story. But you got a problem with Ringo TV because he's a black man. And that's why you went to CBS. You thanked them for giving you a platform. What a shame that after 2 years. And here's another thing, Zach. How come you weren't on the interview? How come you weren't invited to the interview? How come it was only Twitch's brother and his mother? And why Manny wasn't in the interview? Why Zach wasn't in the interview? You see, Zach, people like you have to pay attention. I know you're not going to listen, but I know you're watching my live stream right now. You allowed Manny Cross to get in your ear. I keep telling you, he's an opportunist. He's an opportunist. He don't know Twitch. He heard of him. He was a fan of Twitch, just like many other people. And he posed as a family friend, and you guys accepted him. But he got in your ear somehow, and now, because of his transgression, he made the Boss family look at Ringo TV as some sort of an enemy. I didn't kill your loved one. I've been speaking out for over 2 years for his justice. So to disrespect me or my work is a total disrespect of Stephen Twitch Boss. Never bite the hand of the man that been keeping his legacy alive, that been fighting for his justice. We literally reviewed all the tapes. We talked about everything under the sun regarding this case of Stephen Twitch Boss. Ringo TV Reaction's been on the front line from day one. We have the best content on social media regarding the case of Stephen Twitch Boss. All you got to do is just go into my community section where all my posts are. And I have a playlist with over 70 plus videos. of some of the best information you'll ever find, some of the best commentary about the case. Where's the hotel footage of the motel? Why the Boss family from day one didn't request from the motel to see footage of Twitch? Why? Zach, why you didn't personally go down to that motel and say, where is the footage? Why y'all didn't seek legal counsel on how to gain access to the footage of that motel? As a family grieving, you would like to see the footage of your late cousin or your late loved one. Why you didn't do that? Y'all had all that ample opportunity to do that. None of y'all did that. Y'all didn't do no research. Were you guys allegedly paid after Twitch died? Tell the public the truth, because we would like to know. We would like to know, was the Boss family compensated by Allison Holker the day Twitch died? Were you guys compensated, given some sort of money? Because when you sign an NDA, normally they give you something in return. I mean, who signs an NDA to see a body? That don't even make no sense. You understand? If this was about photos not leaking to the public, then it doesn't make any sense. Because Miss Holker is leaking all sorts of information to the public that they don't need to know. Shout out to Juanita for the support. Appreciate you sponsoring the show. So thanks, Ringo. Keep your foot on their necks. And see, ladies and gentlemen, some people think I'm insensitive because I hold everybody accountable. It's the way I do things. I have no respect of persons. I cannot be one-sided. I cannot focus on just Allison Holker. We know Allison Holker is a devil. We know that. But the family is moving shady too. The family is moving shady, guys. GoFundMes, people now speaking after 2 years. Family members who never signed an NDA been quiet for 2 years. There's no excuse of you being quiet for 2 years if you never signed an NDA. Because we've been thinking that, well, the family was quiet because of the NDA. But now that you said you never signed an NDA and you've been quiet the whole time and your excuse is, well, I didn't want to speak because I didn't want to ruin the chances of Connie seeing the grandkids. Come on, man. These are sorry excuses. You're supposed to be fighting for the justice of Twitch. That's what you should be doing.
Exceptional job speaking on the family state of mind and the sentiments that we felt for the past 2 years, things that they've had to endure, dealing with Stephen's widow and just the whole NDA, everything. I think it's difficult to speak in a public setting to the world.
How? You never signed an NDA, so how is it difficult to speak? You, sir, never signed the NDA, so you could have been speaking for the family the whole time.
Especially when it's not something you're accustomed to doing. So I just want to give a shout out to them for their willingness to put themselves in that vulnerable state and deliver that information. I think they did so with dignity, with class.
No, they did not do it with dignity and class, because at no point in the interview were they fighting for his justice. Nowhere in the interview did they say they believe Twitch was murdered. Gail asked Dre, what do he think about in terms of the death? What do he think about Twitch no longer being here? In other words, his death. And his reply was, you need to ask Miss Holker. Rather than him say, I believe my brother was murdered, I believe there was foul play, he didn't say that. You know why? Because CBS, Gail King, they all made a deal under the table. The way the interview was supposed to go is like this, guys. Once Twitch's family got the interview and Gail went down to the residence to shoot and they set up the cameras, they made it very clear based on a contract. You are not to say on our network that you believe Twitch was murdered. Because that would imply that you are saying Allison Holker had something to do with it. And we at CBS and Gail King will not be liable for any of that content going through the air. They made a deal, guys. And the reason why we know this is because when you saw Gail, she said their interview is not that they both agreed. If you go back to the interview, we're going to review that in another show again. Gail said they had an agreement before they did the interview that it's not going to be a let's bash Miss Holker interview. So they already agreed that they're not going to say anything negative about Miss Holker. That's what they said. Why would Gail and Boss family agree to that? That mean they protected Miss Holker from any sort of public scrutiny. They wanted to be focused on her book rather than focused on justice for Twitch being murdered. You don't see the play? You can't see what's going on?
I think they were very mindful of their Stephen's widow and his children. I think it's an interview they can be proud of for years to come.
How could they be proud of the interview from years to come? How? They basically agreed that Twitch took his own life. Twitch's brother said that he used drugs recreationally and tried certain drugs. Right? And what's so crazy is he never even used the word drugs, but it alludes to him using drugs because he left room for the public to interpret what he pretty much said. So once he said what he said, it was interpreted as, yeah, my brother, yeah, he used drugs before. He tried certain things. Yeah, I know about that. I'm aware of that. Well, if you're saying that, sir, then you're also saying that what Allison found in the closet must be true. Did Allison reach out to you guys once she found these things? Did she send you a photo and say, look, guys, I found this in the closet. It belonged to Twitch. Look at all these drugs. I can't believe it. She never showed you guys nothing. She didn't keep y'all in the loop. So obviously, we know she's lying. But for the brother Dre to throw his brother under the bus, that's so nasty of him to do. Like, did he really love his brother? Do they even share the same father? Because if you notice, brother Dre has a different last name from Twitch. So it's like, what's really going on? Do they have the same father? Because if not, that's another red flag.
And I just want to give them some kudos for that. I think there's people, and rightfully so, that would wonder, hey, why is the family speaking out all this time? It's been 2 years. And I think I was just compelled to give some context surrounding that.
Yeah, the people want to know why after 2 years, you're now trying to speak up on these issues.
And first of all, let me clear up there too. I did not sign an NDA. So I'm one of the few that didn't sign an NDA in the original at the wake.
So you didn't sign an NDA, but you've been quiet for 2 years. You didn't sign an NDA, but you've been quiet like everybody else for 2 years.
I've been a little bit more forthcoming with information just because I did not have the psychological association with signing a piece of paper that would make me not be able to speak about events that have happened.
So you're telling us that the family of Twitch, including the mama, the brother, kept quiet for 2 years because of the psychological control that Ms. Holker had over them, but yet you adults agreed to sign these papers. So where was the legal advice? Where was the legal counsel that you guys had to look through or investigate before signing the NDA? Because again, the family of Twitch want you guys to send money to a GoFundMe. I do not recommend anyone that is viewing my platform to send not $1. Don't send a word. Don't send nothing. You know what I mean? Because here's why. Before they signed that NDA, they could have took that to an attorney so the attorney could look over the NDA and see if it was worth signing. The NDA would have been read by the attorney. He would have went through all the legalities and said, wait a minute now. Don't sign that NDA. But we're not going to be able to see our son, our loved one. No, you could take legal action of that right now. We can file a lawsuit right now. We can do that right now. If this is what she presented to you in terms of an NDA, in order for you to see your loved one, and she wanted you to sign this thing while you're mourning, then she's trying to make you pretty much agree to something that is going to benefit her, not you. So you guys can file a lawsuit, and pretty much we can get this thing, we could get the ball rolling. Because remember, this was still in early to mid-December. The wake funeral was in January. So when you factor all of that together, they could have took legal action against Allison from back then. You understand? And all of Twitch's fans would have backed up the family if they knew that Mama Boss and everybody was under duress, under stress, under all sorts of emotional and mental pressure because they wanted to see Twitch, but Allison was holding the keys because she wanted them to sign over paperwork. By the pure fact you signed that NDA, it had to do with Steven's resources, money, different assets. For all you know, Twitch probably left his mom some money. And by them signing over that paperwork, it probably cut the family off so that they're not beneficiaries to nothing. Because if you go back to that NDA message, it says that Allison Holker, her family, and Stephen Boss are the beneficiaries. You see that? It didn't even list his family as beneficiaries of anything. So Twitch's family end up broke. And Allison took all the money and left. That's a sad situation right there, fam. And the whole time, Zachary already done knew that the NDA was out there, and he never came to the public so that he could bring awareness to this. He could have sounded the alarm a long time ago. It's only but recently that we all started to learn about NDAs and this and that. Well, where was this 2 years ago? Come on now. They playing games with your mind.
So when I talk, I do so a little bit more freely and not under the premise that I'm going to be sought after for the things that I'm saying. And I find it insulting that to be able to speak your mind, that somebody would be able to cause injury for that. So especially, for what we have done. We've been very respectful and mindful. And sometimes when you speak your truth, if you live in your life in such a horrible way, the truth is going to sound like an attack. And that's sad. That speaks volumes about your character, not ours, right?
But see, anytime you speak the truth, people are going to always get mad. That's the term, the truth hurts. Anytime you speak the truth to somebody that's doing wrong, they're going to always see it as an attack because they're guilty. If I'm correcting somebody on YouTube via a video and the said person gets upset and they start getting angry and they accuse me of attacking them, then that person is guilty of something and they don't like accountability. They don't like the fact that I'm publicly doing it. You know what I mean? I'm holding them accountable to the fire. So they get emotional rather than taking accountability for what they've done.
So there are people that, probably would ask the question, did y'all feel that Stephen committed suicide or that there was foul play?
Now think about what he's saying. There are people that are saying, do you think that Stephen committed the S word or was there foul play? Now think about this, guys, because I've been saying it was foul play since day one. So why is Zachary saying this now? Why is he even asking this question or trying to answer this question now? Come on, guys. Come on. He's watching my videos. So now he feel obligated to answer the question.
And if you did feel like that was foul play, why didn't you say anything?
Why didn't you say anything? In other words, if you believe that there was foul play, why didn't you say anything? Now, what you're about to hear is his excuse. Because deep down inside, Zachary know that there was foul play. But he's going to give his response, which to me is rather poor, because you mean to tell me, Zach, you know that there was foul play in the death of your cousin, but you stayed quiet about it because you wanted Mama Boss to have a relationship with the grandkids, knowing that there was foul play against your cousin? Does that make any sense? So you're trying to protect the killer at the expense of Mama Boss having access to the kids. Are you really serious?
So let me kind of touch on some of that and provide some context for those questions. So I hope I can say this in a way that would bring about clarity and close off some of these topics. So, first of all, when Stephen died, the information that we received about his death basically indicated that there was a gun, there was a suicide note, there was a body, and that he checked into a hotel, he went in, never came out. There was a supposed police report that indicated, that the police were called, that there was a missing person, all these things. So there was details surrounding it that corroborated this story, right? So we're just regular folk. We not know, Stephen was a celebrity, and honestly, Stephen was regular folk too, but he just was very talented, and he's a.
I don't know why he's saying regular folk. Like, what do you mean regular folk? Like, what does that mean? Everybody lives and everybody dies. Everybody got to use the toilet. Everybody is the same. Right? Regular folk. No. Answer the question. You don't got to go in circles, because what he's trying to do is build the momentum of whatever he's trying to say. He's not saying it straight. You understand? If you know there was foul play, why didn't you just say that? It's been 2 years and you haven't said a word. This don't make any sense.
Kid, that became a man and just a good dude. Anyway, so for regular people that are getting this information,
regular people,
there's not much you can go on when you have this information outside of you just feeling the way that you do. So when you're left with your emotions, if your emotions are the ones that are telling you that there's foul play and there's no evidence to support that foul play, what are you going to tell the attorneys?
See, he's playing with your mind. He's gaslighting you right there, because he's talking about your emotions, right? Oh, if your emotions is telling you this, no, you have a spirit. You should have intuition. You should have discernment. You're supposed to know your cousin enough to know that there is no way that he would do this. First thing we have to ask Zach is this. When was the last time you communicated with Stephen Twitch Boss? When was the last time you, Zachary, when was the last time you text him, had a phone call, met up with him? When was that last time? Because in order for us to take you serious, we need to know that you were actually active with your cousin in terms of being a real family member. Because anybody can pop up out of the woodwork claiming that they were family when someone's dead or when somebody inherits a certain amount of money. But the real question is, when was the last time you, sir, communicated with Twitch? Because if you know him, you would know he's not capable of doing that. You would know that he have a lot to live for. You would know your cousin, especially if you're that cool cousin that he always hangs out with, where y'all cool like friends, where you know your dog, you know him. You understand? So if you're not coming from a place like that, we can't take you serious. We can't. Because what you're suggesting is that anybody who believe Twitch took his life, not took his life, excuse me, that Twitch was murdered, or that there was foul play, that they don't have any supporting evidence of such. And you don't have anything to bring an attorney Oh, we got a lot to bring to an attorney. You understand? We have a lot. There's a lot of key red flags. Because here's the thing. How do you believe that he took his own life? How do you believe that? Where are the facts that could prove he took his own life? There are no facts. The only thing you got is an official story. Nobody saw him take his life. So how could anybody say he took his life? Because there's a note. Anybody could have put the note there. The first thing we would have to see is, was Twitch even at the motel? Where's the footage of Twitch entering the hotel? Where is it? Where is it? Where is the footage of Stephen Twitch Boss entering the motel? Where is the footage? And we need a full 24-hour footage investigation that shows he entered a motel and never left. If we don't got that footage, Twitch was murdered. He was murdered. Because in order for you to believe that there was a gun at the crime scene and a so-called note, we would first of all have to prove that he was even at the motel. So where is the footage of him walking in the motel, walking up to the receptionist's desk, walking to the counter to get his keys? Where's the footage? There is none. So why you believe the narrative, sir? Why you believe what the mainstream media put out? That doesn't make it a fact. That doesn't mean he took his life. Have you ever read this note that they claim, sir? No. You didn't read anything. You just believe it. So how does that make what we heard the truth? There is no video footage of Twitch leaving his house. There is no video footage of him entering a motel. There is no information that can prove that he was even there. You just believe it. Did you go to the motel to see the body? Did the family ever had a chance to see Twitch's body before the funeral? In other words, if Twitch was found at the motel, right, and they took him to the morgue or wherever the case is, did Twitch's family even get a chance to see the body at all? Did the family ever get to see the body other than the wake? Because you can see these things if you push for it. Before the funeral, you can see your loved one. So where's that information? Because you would have been able to see every detail. Where was he shot? Where was he shot? What room was he shot in? What part of the head was he shot? You know? The gun, the caliber of the gun. How many rounds were in the gun? You see? Fingerprints. Why there was no investigation on anybody else that may have been in the room? They told you that the maid or the housekeeper, whoever came there, and they discovered whatever. Well, how do we know that's true? How do we know somebody else wasn't there when Twitch lost his life? Come on now. What's going on? Why no one's investigating these key things? Why nobody's asking the real questions? You see? What about the Uber driver? Did anybody investigate the Uber driver? Did anybody get a statement from that person? Was it even true? Where's the video of the Uber pulling up to the motel? Where is it? Why there's no footage? Because Twitch was murdered. This was a hit. And they covered it up real good.
What are you going to tell, what is your course of action? Well, naturally you want to get the facts. Now, for me...
You said naturally you want to get the facts. Well, there is no facts. There is no facts that he took his own life. The only thing you got is what the media told you. But there are no facts that can prove that that is true. So it's all speculation. This is why I don't go by what the news media put out. I go by the facts of what I could see. You have not seen anything, but you believe what they told you. So why would I believe what they told me? I'm not going to believe that he took his life when I've uncovered so much information regarding this case that points back to the wife. The wife is cruel. She's heartless. She'd never shed not one tear for Twitch since the day he died. I have never seen Miss Holker cry. Matter of fact, the only time we seen her cry alligator tears is when she got arrested for public intoxication and disorderly conduct. That is when we saw her appearing to cry. We haven't seen her wailing and crying like that for Twitch. We haven't seen her bawling and wailing, Steven, no, Steven. We have never seen her do that. She showed no emotion, no empathy for that man. It's almost as if though she couldn't wait for him to die so she could move on with the new man she's with. Oh, yeah.
His mother is there. What remains of Steven? Steven's kids. Okay, so Steven's kids are here. His mother wants to maintain a relationship with his kids.
Wait a minute. His mother want to have a relationship with the kids, but you guys are focusing on her book. So this is not about her book, sir. Because the relationship issues that you guys had with the kids and Miss Holker, y'all should have been sorted them issues out behind the scenes. It's been 2 years. How come there's no relationship? Come on now. How come y'all couldn't work those issues out behind the scenes, man? All you had to do is just pull up at the house and say, hey, we got to squash this nonsense that's going on. See, there's more to this, ladies and gentlemen, than meets the eye. They're just not telling us the real truth.
At this point in time, the most important thing that we have is our family, and we want to rally around our family so that they can, especially her, she's the mother of Steven, so we want to make sure that she's able to continue to foster that relationship.
So this is not about her book. This is about having a relationship with the kids. Do you see what's coming out, ladies and gentlemen? This is not about justice for Steven Twitch Boss. This is about Twitch's family having a family feud with Allison Holker regarding visitations with the kids. These are Miss Holker's kids. If she don't want you guys to be around the kids, she don't have to let you guys see the kids. A lot of you that are viewing this live, you don't bring your kids around certain family members. You just don't. And you have good reasons not to. And nobody could tell you what you can or can't do with your kids. Right? So as much as you might be a fan of Twitch, you still got to remember and you got to respect that those kids are, in fact, Miss Holker's kids. We would love to see the kids interact with grandma, but at the same time, those are Miss Holker's kids. Can't get in the middle of that. Let's go.
Collectively, it was important that we protected her ability to do so.
You see that? Protect her ability to do so. So him staying quiet, knowing that Twitch was murdered, knowing that there was foul play, he stayed quiet because in his mind, he's protecting grandma, right, from pretty much having access to the kids. So even if he know there was foul play, he ignored that. That's not important. What's important is I got to play along. I got to play the game. I got to act like I like Miss Holker in order for Mama Boss to be able to see the kids, even though there's a lot of strife in the family, even though we don't like each other. As long as the kids are able to see Mama Boss, I'm going to play this little game. That's basically what he's saying, guys.
So regardless of what we felt emotionally, it was not to anybody's benefit to go and do the things that we that you probably think are just so natural to do.
What are you talking about natural to do? There's certain things that you should have been naturally doing. For example, the family receiving an NDA 3 days after Twitch died, y'all was supposed to do certain things to bring that to the public. If the public would have known about that from day one, they would have been backing the family till today. If the public would have known that you guys received NDAs from Ms. Holker 3 days after he died, the public would have been like, oh yeah, definitely foul play. That's a red flag. Nobody should be doing that. That's a clear sign of a cover-up of someone's trying to take over the assets of someone else.
I would have done this and I would have done that. And I understand that because I was the dude that wanted to do exactly what you're saying. And I wanted to fly off the cuff and do everything that you're saying.
Well, we're not talking about fly off the cuff. We're talking about bringing awareness to something that you clearly can see. See, in my videos, I talked about how if my family member was at, or, you know, a family member of mine passed away, and I went to the funeral and you guys, because we initially thought that the NDA was presented to the family at the funeral. That's what we all thought. We thought that, like, okay, as soon as you guys walked in, they had paperwork like, hey, you got to sign this, you got to sign that. Then it later came to us that they literally presented these NDAs 3 days after Twitch died, and it was dated back December 13, 2022. So if the family knew about this from back then, they had more than enough time to seek out legal counsel in regards to signing such document, because the attorney would have been able to comb through the document and say, wait a minute now, there's a lot of problems here. Don't sign this. Why not? We want to see our loved one. Do not sign this. Based on this document legally, what she's attempting to do is make you guys sign away your life and any access of what you can and can't do regarding Twitch moving forward, which means if you guys wanted to produce a documentary, a book, a photo album of anything, or have anything for his fans, you can't do nothing or monetize anything with Twitch. That's basically what she just did. The attorney would have been able to unearth all of that mess and would have been able to protect the family in making the right kind of decisions legally. And the attorney would also suggest possibly taking legal action against Ms. Holker for trying to coerce them or pressure them via this NDA. And they could have been able to win some sort of damages. And we, the public, we wouldn't have been looking at it as, oh, they're trying to make money. We would have never been thinking that, because we would have been like, yo, that's some foul stuff Ms. Holker did. The family deserved to be compensated for this and that. And not only that, it would have opened up a can of worms against Ms. Holker for even trying to do all of this while the family is grieving. And I think that is what Twitch's family should have been focused on, but they didn't do this, guys. They had ample amount of time to do this. Why now? Come on now. The family, after Twitch died, they didn't have access to the grandkids, even from back then. They don't even know the grandkids, fam. They don't. Those kids are growing up and they don't even know their father's side of the family. They know Ms. Holker's side of the family. They don't even know Twitch's side. So what we're hearing from Zach now, I don't like it, because it's not focused on justice for Twitch. It's like, okay, I know there was foul play, but for the sake of Connie, I'm going to just stay quiet, do what I got to do in hopes that she's able to have a relationship with the grandkids. Well, what about a relationship with the mother? What about Ms. Holker's relationship with Connie? What about that relationship? Because basically what you're saying is be fake, like most families are. A lot of us have family members we don't even like, but we tolerate them. We come around, hey, how you doing? Hey, what up, bro? But we don't even like each other. That's fake. I don't like stuff like that. I would rather not even show up to any family event if I got a problem with you, because I'm not going to be fake.
However, there are people that would advise against that. So I'm of the mindset that do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
So basically what you're saying is you're a Christian. Because if you're saying do unto others as you would want them to do unto you, right? So if you really believe that, then how do you expect Miss Holker to take any of you guys serious with what is transpiring right now? You know, because y'all could have did this from way back then. So to do it now, especially while she released the book, even if the book is full of lies, do you really think that approach is going to somehow make Mama Boss and the grandkids connect? It's not. It's not. All it's going to do is infuriate the narcissist, Allison Holker, because she is, in fact, a narcissist.
But if you treat me poorly, you're not going to have an opportunity to do anything to me.
Which mean he knows that Miss Holker been treating the family poorly, and now he figured, okay, now is a good time to start talking. But that's been going on. You know? Twitch's mom been treated poorly by Miss Holker for a long time. The only time she was able to really have access was when Twitch was around, because Miss Holker couldn't have act up while Twitch was there. Because Twitch would be like, why are you disrespecting my mom? And he would, set order. So now that he's gone, she's like, I don't got to be nice to nobody no more. I could be myself. I don't got to tolerate none of you, And maybe there might be some racial tension in this situation too, because we know that plays a part. So there's a lot of issues here. These two families don't like each other. Because if we're really trying to focus on Twitch's legacy, there would be no issues with the grandkids. Because Allison would say, you know what? I might have issues with you. Y'all might not like me. I might not like you guys. But I don't want my kids to suffer. So I'm going to make sure that the kids have access to grandma at all times. If we're really focused on the kids. But the truth is, Allison don't care about the kids or the kids knowing Twitch side of the family. She don't like them. Again, if she loved her kids, if she loved Twitch's mother, there would be no ifs, ands, or buts regarding her access to the kids. We wouldn't even be having this conversation. She would automatically send the kids over for the whole weekend, be like, hey, you guys can have the kids. I'm going to be focusing on some business stuff. You guys can hold the kids for 2 weeks. And she would let Mama Boss just have fun and enjoy her grandkids. But she haven't done that yet. I don't believe there was ever a time, ever since some kids were born, that Allison or Twitch or anybody left the kids with Mama Boss for 2 weeks and let her just bond with the kids and get to know the kids. I don't think there was ever a time that even happened.
Going to disarm you, and I'm not going to allow you to put me in the same position. Well, being that, you have children involved and people that want to foster a relationship, Connie and the brothers, Dee and Cameron, are at the mercy of Stephen's widow.
Think about that wordplay. At the mercy. At the mercy of this woman. You know what that means? That means you guys have no power. None. If you're at the mercy of someone, all that legal action talk about you guys setting up GoFundMes to take legal action or whatever the case is, you don't got no power over Ms. Holker, guys. And I'm talking to Twitch's family. They don't have no power because you just said it. They're at the mercy of Ms. Holker, which means they can't get in unless she say so. And she covered her tracks by making you guys sign NDAs. And trust and believe, she talked to her attorneys, man. Y'all got to understand, although she's a narcissist, she went to her attorneys. You have to understand something, guys. I'm going to break down something for you right now, right? White folk, right? Let's talk about white folk for a minute, right? When it comes to situations regarding family, money, resources, beneficiaries, a lot of times white folk are knowledgeable in those areas. Not saying that black folk can't be knowledgeable in those areas, because there's a lot of knowledgeable black folks in those areas too. But my point is, Allison immediately focused on the resources, the business deals, and everything else. And she wanted to secure all of these different things. So the first course of action was to exclude the family from even being any sort of beneficiaries. She made sure of that, because she's like, look, I don't want none of you guys to obtain anything in the future off this man's death. Because normally family do that. Family be like, look, that was my son, that was this, and they try to go to court in order to get whatever they got to get. Maybe, you know, something was left for me. And what Allison did is she cut them off legally. You know what I mean? She used the courts, the systems, the attorneys, and she did it legally. It's like legal robbery. It's dirty, I know. But at the same time, she outsmarted them. It's just like when you have a rapper and he go sign a 360 deal, right? He's popular in the streets, popular on social media, but he's broke. Record company making all the money. Hey, it's a capitalistic society, guys. You got to be smart. Survival of the fittest. Only the strong survive. You got to understand how that works. So she outsmarted Twitch's family. But the thing is, she's been working on this for a while. And she's been talking to certain people in high places on how to do this. So trust and believe, she got attorneys that drafted up that NDA, and they told her what and what she could do. And they even told her what the family may do in the future. So I'm pretty sure that by Twitch's family coming out of the woodworks now, Allison Holker already anticipated that. Again, guys, these are just some of the key things that you need to understand about the world we live in. Some people are just smarter, and they're able to use the system to outsmart you and be able to control certain things legally, and you can't do nothing about it. So I believe that Twitch's family coming forward now trying to take legal action is it's not going to work. You know, it's not going to work. It's going to only create more problems and more tension between Ms. Holker and the family of Twitch. And it's never going to be able to resolve itself. Not now. Not after you cross that line. Because it looks good that people sent 21,000, but that 21,000, it's looking kind of lonely compared to that $250,000 goal. That mean that the world don't see it fit to support this initiative. By the pure fact the GoFundMe is kind of stuck at 21,000, it's going to hit to 22, but the world don't see it necessary to get involved in that, because they see that it's not going towards any justice for Twitch. It's focusing on a book, but then y'all focusing on relationship with the grandkids. Which one is it? If you're going to court because of grandkids, say that. But don't focus on, oh, you know, the book says this, the book says that. You can't do nothing about her book. She's protected, guys. I told you already. She's protected already. She's covered all her tracks regarding that book. She knows there's nothing you could do to her. You can't, because you're not Twitch. No one can sue for defamation of character, slander, nothing, because only Twitch could, but he's dead. And she knows that. So no matter how much you go to an attorney, there's nothing they could do. But she lied on my son. There's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could do. It is what it is, man. You guys had 2 years to talk. That's why she made them sign them NDAs, man. You know? I don't know. Maybe there's a certain amount of time you have to talk about a certain story before it could be investigated, for all we know. Maybe there's a certain limit, some sort of limitations or something, where if someone died or whatever the case is, in order for you to have a case reopened, maybe there's a certain time limit you have to do it. I don't know. You know? And maybe that NDA was set up purposely to be Allison Holker's alibi, to protect her in case an investigation took place.
So at this point, when it comes to trying to figure out how to move, everything is predicated on preserving that relationship.
But there's none.
So at that point, it's not about Zachary. It's about them. So I have to do the work, and I have to come to terms with the fact that there's a high probability that Stephen committed suicide, and that I didn't want to accept that.
You see that? He said there's a high probability that Stephen took his life, but he don't want to believe that. You see how there's different stories within the stories? One is the death of Stephen Twitch Boss. The other is Mama Boss want to see the grandkids. The other is the book that is spreading lies about Twitch. You see that? So the family of Twitch are going to have to come to the grips of, what do you believe? If you believe that there is foul play, you guys have to be talking about that. Because if not, you're going along with the original story, the original narrative, which means you're a puppet. You're a puppet in this play. If the family of Twitch is saying he was murdered, that goes against Allison Holker's book. But if the family believe that, wait, let me see. Let me make sure I worded that properly. If the family of Twitch believed that he was murdered, that there was foul play, that would go against Allison Holker's book, making her look like a suspect, because it's like the family of Twitch believe he was murdered, but Allison believed that he took his own life. That right there is what's going to make this situation go the way it needs to go. But if Twitch's family believe that he took his own life, then what are we fighting for? Because that's in agreement with her book. Her whole book is that he took his life because he felt he was going to molest his son, because he was on drugs, allegedly, that he was an alcoholic, even though there's record of Allison Holker being arrested for public intoxication and disorderly conduct. Twitch never been arrested. There's no police reports on him, but there is police reports on Miss Holker. She didn't put that in the book. You see that? She didn't put that in the book, guys. Why? Why she didn't put that in the book?
So I go to therapy, I go to counseling, I do all these things, and so now I'm at the place mentally that suggests that, okay, Stephen committed suicide, but nothing in me believed that.
You see that? Nothing in him believed that, guys. So he went to therapy. He know that it's being said that Twitch took his own life, but, right? But he don't believe that. So if you don't believe that, that means you agree with Ringo TV. That mean that Zachary believe that Ringo TV been telling the truth for 2 years, but he never acknowledged my work, guys. You see that? Why not? Is it because I'm a black man? Now, I want to know this, Zach. Like, how is it that you're saying this, that you went to therapy and now it's like, you know, in your heart that there's no way that this man took his life? So that means you agree with me. You agree with Ringo TV, but you guys don't acknowledge me. It's like, y'all don't even want the world to know about my content. Y'all never reached out for interviews. Don't you know this is social media, guy? You busy going out to Gail King and this and that. Fam, they're old news. You better get connected with the content creators. We're the new wave. You guys could have came to the crib, would have set the studio up, set them microphones up, and I would have let you guys talk, do your thing, and we would have got the message out there to the public. You know what I mean? Would have got the message out there to the public. They would have been talking on social media. It would have been big news. All the big stations and everything would have got a hold of the stories, and they would have saw all the interviews that we've done. And it would have been very, very headline news, man, because I would have never deleted any footage from the interview. And I'm pretty sure that the interview that the Boss family had with Gail was edited, and they took out certain things, and they only allowed certain things in that made Twitch look like he crazy. I know how that goes with television and show business. This is what they do all the time. They only let the public consume only the information that would make someone look like they're crazy. This is why when Gail had the interview with R. Kelly went to the interview because he thought that Gail was going to give him a fair shot. She thought that Gail was going to somehow allow him to speak his truth in regards to all the backlash and all the allegations of sexual abuse and rape and all this other stuff, holding women hostage and all this other junk. He thought that Gail was going to give him a platform where he could just be heard. And instead, Gail made R. Kelly crash out to the point where he started to look crazy. And the public looked at him as a monster. So she was being used by the beast system to crucify R. Kelly, guys. This really happened. A lot of times when people invite you for interviews, it's not always because they want you to speak your truth. A lot of times these interviewers are actually there, bought and paid for by certain entities in the industry to use that stage to make you look bad. So they could get it on tape of you crashing out, lashing out, cussing, acting the fool. And now everybody's looking at you sideways like, damn, bro. Really? The way Gail made Kelly break down, it made him look bad. It made him look real bad. And it's like, damn. The power of the interview. So when Gail had the Boss family on, y'all probably thought that Gail was trying to get the Boss family to look good. No, she weaponized the Boss family so that they can support what's in Allison Holker's book, rendering the Boss family lost in the sauce, powerless. Because all the things they had to say had no focus on foul play. It had no focus on, well, our belief is that Twitch was murdered. No, everything was away from the truth. They had the national stage and blew it. Ain't that a shame? The Twitch family had the national stage because right after the Gail interview, it started popping up on all the different news networks. All Twitch's mom had to say is, I believe my son was murdered. And that would have been clipped, captioned everywhere. Details at 10. Stephen Twitch boss mother, Connie, basically said in a statement on the Gail King interview that she believes that her son was murdered. Roll the tape. And that's what it would have happened. Everybody would have been talking about it. And if the brother would have agreed with her that, yes, I believe that my brother was murdered, I believe that had to be foul play. He's just not that type of guy. That would have been on the air. They would have had no choice but to put it on the air. But because CBS, Gail King, is also affiliated with the Beast system, their job was actually to protect Allison Holker and their bottom line from any sort of lawsuits pertaining to the NDA. Remember, if the Boss family signed an NDA, right, that means that there's certain things they can't say, certain things they can't talk about, right? So if CBS, Gail King, and everybody else had them on a platform, that could be a liability. That could be an issue where, okay, you gave the Boss family a platform and it made them violate the agreement of the NDA. So therefore, Gail King is going to be sued. CBS is going to be sued. Everybody else is going to be held accountable. So basically, that's why Gail King said this is not going to be an interview of us bashing Miss Holker. Why? To protect their bottom line. So that interview was a sham. It wasn't an authentic interview, guys. Y'all all got played. Yes, sir, that's right. I understand how this thing works. And I believe that the Boss family may have gotten paid too. Because again, the network, Gail, all of them are making money off of this. So somebody had to be compensated. Because if I'm correct, Gail went to Twitch's mom's house, I believe, to do the interview. So they had to set up the cameras. They had to do this, that, all of that other stuff. You know? So they had to give them something for the interview, for their troubles, to get the story. Because why else do you want the story out there for? What is the purpose of doing the interview? It's for something. It got to be for something. So not only were they allegedly compensated, but they're looking for something to come about out of this. It could have been a play of, okay, let's go to the interview, let's do this, and then we can go and we can set up the GoFundMe. Why? Because we got the publicity from CBS. So now we're all over the TV screen, we're all over the internet. So now is a good time to release the GoFundMe, because since all those people were viewing the videos, they'll be emotionally invested in the topic, and now we can make money. You see that? So that it could have been a situation like that too, where Gail was like, look, you guys come on, you guys can come on the air, y'all can do the story, it's going to be popular, it'll get a certain amount of views, and before you know it, you guys could possibly set up a GoFundMe and perhaps seek legal counsel, take legal action. And they probably like, you're right, that would be a great idea, yeah. All right, let's do that. And that's probably what they did, guys. That's probably what they did.
I've never, just something within me that there's never nothing that said, yeah, I know. So anytime I ever discuss Stephen's supposed suicide, I would say reported to have committed suicide. Because for me, that would be an indication that I wasn't lying.
It's not about you lying, sir. It's not about you lying. I get what you're saying. In other words, what he's saying is, it's like if I'm doing content on social media, right? It's like for me to just go along with the narrative that, yeah, Stephen took his life. You think you're telling the truth because you figure that's what happened. Similar to 9/11, right? They'll tell you stories about 9/11. Like, I have my beliefs about that. I'm not going to mention that here because YouTube is very finicky about that subject. But my point is, if the official story was that Twitch took his own life, saying that he did that publicly, right, is considered speaking the truth, even though there are no facts to prove that. That's just the narrative they want you to believe. You can never prove that somebody took their own life unless you were there. You can't prove that. All you can do is just say, well, the body is there, there's a gun, there's a note, and you just conclude, let's just put that on the paperwork. It's just like when you have a certain job and you have to report what you find. Well, according to the notes, what I found when I got to the location was X, Y, and Z. So let's just conclude this unfounded X, Y, and Z. Boom. Close your ticket. Right? Can't figure it out. I don't see anything. Okay. Unfounded. You know? And that's how it was like me when I was on a 9-to-5 and I used to get a ticket for a particular job and I would go to the residence place and I would look, can't find it. Unfounded. And then they would put another ticket in for the same thing. And I'm like, look, what's going on? You keep putting in tickets. And my supervisor would be like, did you solve the problem? I'm like, there is no problem. The person's bugging out. So the supervisor would come with me to the site and he would look himself and be like, you're right. There's nothing here. Why do you keep putting in a ticket? It's unfounded. So you can't conclude that somebody took their life unless you have facts. Just because the official story said he did doesn't make it a fact. It's just what they find. They found a body there. They found a gun. They found a note. So it's pretty much unfounded, meaning we don't know how this happened. So let's just label it, he took his life. That's how they do it. You know, it saves all the paperwork. It saves all the research. It saves all the investigation. It saves taxpayer dollars. He took his own life. Case closed. And that's what they did with Twitch. They didn't even give it no effort. None. They didn't even show us video of him going into a motel so that we can be like, okay, he did go to the motel. There he go. Yo, there go Twitch. We didn't even see that. So how do we know he was there? How do we know? How do we know the motel was staged? How do we know they weren't paid off? How do we know everybody was involved? How do we know if there's not a company? Now, follow me, ladies and gentlemen. This may sound a little bizarre, but follow me for a second. What if there's a company that industry people can hire to kill other people, and their job is to clean up the mess? Meaning, you hire a particular company, agency, or whatever the case is to carry out taking somebody out for the purposes of whatever. And their job is to go to the location, get everything set, pay off who they got to pay, do whatever they got to do, and execute whatever they got to do. And then once it's done, they clean it up, put it in the media that you took your life, blah, 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 blah. What if there is such a company out there that do these type of crazy things, guys? What if something actually exists that does that? Because the reason why is I've seen too many stories like this. I've heard too many stories where people, they say, oh, this person took their own life. And you're like, well, why would that person take their own life? That person was just doing a podcast the other day. Now they took their own life. This doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make no sense. It's crazy. How? This is wild, fam. But let's get back to the tape. Let's go.
It was reported that he committed suicide. But every time that I would say he committed suicide, every time you say a person commits suicide, it's another buy-in to the fact that that's what happened.
You see what he's saying? Hey, you see what he's doing here? He's basically saying the more you keep saying that Twitch took his own life, committed the S word, the more you begin to believe it. You get it? The more you begin to believe it. But deep down in your heart, you're like, I don't think he did that, though. Why I keep saying that? It sounds weird to keep saying that. Fam, I don't even say that word. I don't even like that word. That word sounds sick. That word sounds demonic. That's an evil word, fam. I don't like to utter that word, fam. I just say the S word. It sounds like a spell. It sounds sick.
A narrative that you received that he committed suicide. Well, how can you prove that someone committed suicide?
How could you?
According to what we have, it's the note, right? That shows the...
No, the note doesn't prove nothing, because anybody can write a note. Is that his handwriting? Did you see the note, Zachary? Zachary, did you see the note? Did you see the note? Zachary, do you not know that somebody could have had a gun to Twitch's head and made him write a note? Do you know they could do these things? People can be hired to point a gun at you, tell you to write this down, write that down, or I'm going to kill you. And then they kill you. Because according to Allison Holker's book, she claimed that some sort of note or his, whatchamacall, journal or something had tears. I think she said the note, the so-called note that was at the motel, that it had tears on it. How could you tell that there are tears on a note? How? How could you tell there are tears on a note? How many of you ever was washing some dishes, or you wash your hand and for whatever reason you had some mail that you picked up and it got wet and then it dried up? Did you see stains of water and said, oh, you know, those are tears of joy or tears of sadness? No. But in Allison Holker's book, she claimed that she saw his tears on the note and how it was in his heart that he wanted to write separate notes for each of his family members after he took his life. These are all lies, people. That doesn't make it proof. So what Zach is saying here doesn't make sense.
It's the gun that shows the capability.
Did you see the gun, Zach? Is it Twitch's legal gun? Because in the book, Ms. Harker said that he bought a gun, I believe, in 2020. I believe it's 2020, the year 2020. And she said that she didn't even know where he kept the gun in the house. This is in her book. She also said she didn't even know if he knew how to use the firearm. Now, remember, Manny, if I'm correct, I believe it was Manny or it was another one of Twitch's cousins suggested that the gun that was used was Allison Holker's gun. So now we got to put that into question, Zach. Is that your man Manny put out there that the gun that was used, and I think he also said it in video that we reviewed, that the gun allegedly belonged to Miss Holker. So now who owns the gun? Because Miss Holker said that Twitch bought his own gun. So who it belongs to? She also implied that she didn't know where the gun was in the house. How do you have a gun in the house with kids and don't even know where your firearm is? You're supposed to have that gun in some sort of case, coded, fingerprint, unlocked, where no kids could gain access to. You know? And it should be in certain locations in the house where you could quickly grab your firearm in case something happened. So how you live in a house with a man for 9 years and don't even know where the gun is? So if your husband is not home, how do you protect yourself and the kids if you don't even know where the gun is? Come on now. This ain't adding up. And just because the media said that there was a note which allude to past challenges, they never read nothing, guys. They never gave us the information. What note? What note? They lying. We don't got no information. They just gave us what was needed to make us believe the narrative. Do you know how many things is happening around us daily and we just think these are just normal accidents and normal deaths and normal plane crashes, and we just believe whatever we see because the media just told us, and we just, oh, it was just an accident, and you know, that's what the media is saying, and you don't know that. A lot of stuff is being done on purpose, guys.
And it's, you know, so at the end of the day, these are the things that we've had to wrestle around with in our head. And, you know, it's difficult to navigate those if you're in the situation.
No, it's not.
But what isn't difficult to navigate is character.
Notice he said is character. What's not difficult to navigate is character. That's when he switched gears and now he's talking about Allison Holker. You see that? Again, what Zach is supposed to be focusing on is the fact that he believes that there was foul play. That is what he's supposed to be focusing on, but he's not. Because he believed by him focusing on that it's interfering with the possibility of the grandkids being with grandma. Well, why? Why would that interfere? Because if Allison Holker had nothing to do with anything, why would she feel some type of way? Foul play could be anybody. It could have been the wife. It could have been the gardener. It could have been a cousin. It could have been a brother. You never know who did it. You know, just because you're family members doesn't mean that Zach didn't do it. Zach could have allegedly took out Twitch for all we know. We don't know who did it. Everybody's a suspect. You know? I mean, anybody that would stay quiet for 2 years is a suspect in my understanding. Because ain't no way you're going to take out one of my family members and, stay quiet for 2 years. That don't make no sense. That would never happen in the hood. 2 years, everybody quiet? Nah, that ain't happening. Somebody going to get you.
You know, over and over again, we've been able to witness the character of Stephen's widow.
You see that? Over and over again, we've been able to witness the character of Stephen's widow. So you guys already knew that Miss Holker was bad. Y'all knew this from day one. Come on, guys. Zach, come on. Zach, big dog, you already know this, bruh. Come on. Listen, Zach, you didn't like that woman. Come on. You never liked her. You was always suspicious about her guy. You were always suspicious about Miss Holker. You knew this already. Because why are we even talking about this now after 2 years? Come on. You know what I mean? The truth is, Zach, do you believe that Twitch was murdered? If you do, you should be focusing your energy on that. Because if he was murdered, forget about Miss Holker's character you already know she's dirty because you know there was foul play. And when you have someone like her, she's capable of anything. You mentioned that in your video. So you know deep down in your heart that something ain't right. But you're afraid to say it because your fear is that something is going to happen to the children, to the kids. I already warned you. The kids are in danger. And the longer you guys take to getting this investigation going, the more likely those kids will end up being harmed. Because why? You're neglecting the kids. Because I've been doing my research for all these years, and I'm telling you, she's a narcissist. She's capable of doing the unthinkable. And the day you guys really push towards what's going on, she's going to take them kids out, fam. She's going to take them kids out. What you guys should have been focusing on from the beginning is that Ms. Holker is mentally unstable. That is what the Boss family should have been focused on from day one. Right after Twitch died, you guys should have been focusing on the fact that y'all been dealing with a lot of issues with Ms. Holker, and she's been showing signs of mental illness, and you feel the children are pretty much in danger because you believe there was foul play. If you guys would have been focused on that and that only, and there would have been an investigation on her, and they would have been checking in to see, is this woman drinking? I mean, she got arrested for public intoxication. Is Ms. Holker currently an alcoholic? Do she use drugs? Is she using drugs or drinking alcohol around the children? These are things that should be investigated. Because if she was arrested for this, ain't no telling what she'd be doing behind closed doors. So if you guys can prove that the children are in an unfit environment where they're possibly being abused or neglected in any way, guess what will happen with them grandkids? Oh, they'll be given over to grandma. That's right. Yeah. You know why? Because you guys sound the alarm. And being that that's Twitch mother, it would be appropriate that the kids go with grandma. That's right. But see, you guys are not on the case. You're not focused on justice for Twitch. You're too busy focusing on petty stuff. And it doesn't make any sense.
And every opportunity that she's had to do something that would indicate innocence, there's an alternative reality.
Well, we know that already. I talked about this many times on the platform. She wanted to be Twitch. She wanted Twitch's life. She wanted Twitch's recognition. She was jealous of Twitch. Listen, Twitch was famous and didn't even know how famous he was. Because just like Zachary said, he's regular folk. Now, maybe that's country. Maybe that's, something they say as a slang. But Twitch didn't look at himself as a celebrity. He looked at himself as regular folk, meaning that he's not really into the limelight of all that celebrity stuff. He likes to be private. But at the same time, he's still a celebrity. So he got to embrace it. Let's get back to the tape.
Alternative answer. And so the first order of events was the NDA. We're trying to come together to grieve the loss of a loved one. And there's an NDA that is backdated to December 13th. Well, initially the NDA was perceived as this is to protect his legacy, the boss legacy.
Well, it can't be to protect the boss legacy because that would be to protect the family of Twitch. See? So it's not about the boss legacy because remember, if you did your research, Zach, Ms. Holker changed her name right after Twitch died. Who does that? Who changes their name right after someone dies? Like, it doesn't make no sense. That's a person who wanted out the relationship. For all you know, Twitch was going to divorce her because he found something or found out she was cheating or found out some mess. Or maybe he was going to expose Ellen DeGeneres, or maybe he was going to expose something in the industry and Allison didn't want no parts of that. And she probably ratted him out to the elite and they probably set him up to get him out of here. There's a lot of factors in this case, man.
As it plays out in the media, it was to prevent pictures from being leaking for the event.
Now, we know that picture stuff was a lie. They just said that to make you believe that what the NDA was about. Listen, if you don't want no pictures taken, all you got to do is just tell everybody, we don't want no pictures taken. But we're talking about his mom and family. Like, why would you make them sign anything and worry about pictures being leaked if they're the family of Twitch? Like, that doesn't make no sense. That's disrespectful automatically. But the problem that I got, guys, is that the funeral thing or the wake was in January, not on the 13th of December 2022. So they had ample amount of time to prepare, right? They didn't have to go. They didn't have to sign nothing. They could have took it to social media to say, look, this is what Ms. Holker is trying to do. She's trying to force us to sign this. We don't really understand this document. Is there any attorneys out there we could reach out to? We really need your help right now. We're grieving the loss of Twitch. The world would have banned with Twitch's family. We would have never let this go down the way it went down. You know? We would have never let this go down the way it went down if we would have known this from the beginning. If we would have known from the beginning that NDAs were presented to the family, man, you know how much content I would have been pushing out there about that? It would expose Ms. Hawk. She would have never been able to write a book. She would have never been able to write a book because her name would have been tainted with that. People would have been like, how insensitive of you to make the mother sign an NDA. Did Allison make her own mother sign an NDA or any of her close family? These are the questions I have. Did Allison Holker make her white family sign any NDAs? Come on now. See, the reason why we have to ask these questions is because if it's really about protecting the boss family or his legacy, then everybody would have to sign, including Allison Holker too. Everybody. It don't make no sense one person sign and the other person don't. It don't make no sense because, again, remember what the daughter of Allison Holker said. She said that there was some sort of scuffle or fight or people yelling at each other at the funeral, guys. That's what the daughter said. You know, I need to get that clip and play it in a video or set it up. I don't have it with me right now, but I got the clip because she deleted it from her Instagram, but I actually have the full live stream that she did. And she talked about how, you know, there was issues in the family. The daughter basically spilled the beans and suggested that there were issues in the family, you know. So they had some sort of scuffle at the funeral. I don't know what that was about. And I'm trying to figure out why Zach ain't talking about that. See, these are the things these are the discrepancies. These are the issues that I got with Twitch's families, that they know things and they're not talking about these things. And they're making weeks and months go by when the story is fresh. And rather than them address all these issues and put all the news out there for the public to decide what needs to be done, instead they're playing these little games. That's why I said don't send not $1. Now think about this. You would think that I would be telling these people to support their GoFundMe. No, do not send not $1 to that GoFundMe. Let that GoFundMe dry up. Do not do it. You know why? Because nothing in that GoFundMe is going towards justice for Twitch. The family of Twitch have not come forward publicly to say that there was foul play and that they believe he was murdered. They're not talking like that, guys. So we cannot support that. We cannot support something that is not going towards justice for Twitch. If it's not going towards his justice, don't support that. You understand? Whatever issues the mama is having with Allison Holker regarding her own kids, it makes no sense. If she don't want you to have a relationship with the kids, it's not our problem. That's your family drama. And we all got drama in our family. And ain't nobody coming to stop our own family drama. Because you got to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, we all got family drama. We all got family we don't get along with, family we just don't like, family we could care less about. We got them. We got family we never visit, and we don't lose no sleep. And guess what? We don't even want the public to know about any of our family drama. We don't, because it's none of their business. And guess what? The public is not going to do anything to help you with your family drama. So whatever's going on between why grandma is not able to see the grandkids, that has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with us. They supposed to learn how to be adults and work through their issues. What we're focused on is who murdered Stephen Twitch Boss. I'm focused on the subject of what I'm focused on. Who murdered him? And why the family isn't focused on that. Instead, they want your money to argue with Allison over a book that most likely was in the works years ago. Because remember, according to the book, Allison Holker said that she found drugs in the closet, and this was when she was trying to pick out something for Twitch to wear, which means right after he died, within that same month of December, she found the drugs. So how come she ain't talk about it? How come the family wasn't notified about it? Because they didn't have no relationship, guys. They didn't have no connection with Allison Holker. They were beefing way before. I'm talking about right after Twitch died, they didn't even agree with one another. They been had issues, man. This is not new. This is not over no book. They been had issues. Been. For all you know, they knew what was in her book, dog. They been knew. They been knew. For all you know, she probably said, I'm writing a book. And y'all can't tell nobody about it because you're going to violate the NDA. She probably been told them. For all we know. There's so much to this. You never know what they know. And they just don't tell the public. They want you to just blindly follow and go along with the get along gang. No. We want answers. And always understand, if the GoFundMe is not going towards justice for Twitch, you're wasting your money, guys. You're wasting your money. I know some of you probably like, look, man, I want to donate because I feel sorry for the mama boss. Bro, you are donating to nothing. You're just making somebody just pay whatever bill they got to pay. You're just putting money in an attorney's hand who is going to tell them sorry, but there's really nothing we can do. You just made an attorney rich. You know what I mean? That's all you did. It's like when it's time to support the people that actually do the work, people don't support them. But when it comes to supporting people that really don't care, you give them all the money. So everybody that's donating all their money, you're just putting it in an attorney's hand. And the attorney don't even care about justice for Twitch. You guys got to think. Got to think long and hard before you end up getting yourself caught up emotionally and fall for the okie doke. Let's get back to the tape.
But if it's for the event happened in January.
Right.
Why is the NDA backdated to December 13th?
Well, why is it backdated to December 13th, and why you guys signed it? Why, if you guys are adults, why did you sign an NDA? You got all of you, listen, all of y'all got a brain, right? So none of y'all thought, well, why are we signing this? Because it's not just Twitch's family that signed this. You got some people on Instagram, and they're white, and they signed it too. So this NDA is deeper than we think, guys. It's way deeper. You know, they flashed the NDA on the screen during the Gail interview, but I would love to have a full copy of that NDA. I'm talking about all the paperwork, like everything, and actually look over it and make it make sense. Let's go.
Well, it's to protect something.
The money, to protect the money. That's why she made y'all sign. It's not just to protect any damn photos from leaking. It's to protect the money, the resources, and from any of y'all trying to capitalize off of his death in terms of writing books, interviews, because, you know, the family can go do interviews and they can make money. You know, people want to hear these stories. They're willing to pay. Allison want all the interviews. Allison want all the money. She cut y'all off through the NDA. Y'all, listen, sad to say this, guys, but I got to. The family of Twitch, all his friends, everybody on Instagram that went to that so-called funeral, you're dumb. You're dumb to have signed an NDA. Because all of you, so none of y'all was intelligent enough to say, wait a minute, why am I signing this? Why am I signing this? I need to seek a lawyer for this. I'm not signing nothing. I'm not signing anything. This document looked too complicated. I'm going to need an attorney to look over this. For real, for real. This is a language I don't understand, even though you should be able to read to understand. But some people may not understand the legalities and the long-term effects of what that NDA does.
I wasn't aware of any ability to backdate an agreement, but it's to protect something. So when we look at the facts and we look at the character of the person that we're talking about, it begs the question of what else are you hiding?
Well, what else are they hiding? Now, Zach, you got to think, what else are they hiding? They're hiding the fact that they allegedly took out Stephen Twitch Boss, but you're too afraid to say it. That's what they're hiding. This is not just about what she wrote in the book. What she wrote in the book should tell you that she never loved Twitch. She never did. Allison didn't love that man. She fetished that man. She liked him. She liked him for a season. She got tired of him. You know? She wanted out. She wanted out the relationship. Ain't no telling what was going on. Think about how quick she got into a new relationship with a new man. She got into a whole new relationship and started to literally do all the things she used to do with Twitch with the new man. And he's an insecure man as well. You know? And I'm not saying Twitch is an insecure man, but this is what she's implying in her book, is that he was insecure, depressed, had anxiety and all sorts of struggles. Like, come on, man, stop lying on this man.
So when we read the memoir, there are things that we can speak to because we were there in the memoir, right? There's certain events that you can speak to that you saw. And so if you're lying about the things that we know about personally, then we know that you're a liar.
And once you know she's a liar, then that means that she's capable of doing the unthinkable. If you know that she's a liar, Zach, then that means there was foul play. If she's lying about things that you guys saw with your own eyes, heard with your own ears, right? Then you know there's foul play, you know. And this is just a reality of, you know, some things that can happen in the real world. You might be in a situation where you do something, or you go to a place, or you mail a letter, and you know you mailed the letter, it's stamped, express mail. And then when you call up the company, you're like, hey, did you guys receive the mail? Because, you know, the tracking says that you guys received it. Oh, no, we didn't receive it. Look, I mailed it, it's express, I paid the fee. You guys received it. It says it was delivered. Nah, we didn't receive it. You can't trust those people. They know they received it. You see? They're playing with your intelligence. So, by the pure fact that you know this, if you know that Allison lied based on things you've seen and witnessed, then you can't trust her. You can't. And if you can't trust her, what else did she do? What else did she lie about? And if she's lying about Twitch, then she's lying about his death. The man was murdered. And we said this from day one and nobody would listen.
So how can we then believe anything that you said? So I've witnessed the character of my family, which is gracious, which is to a fault. And I've witnessed the character of his widow, which is horrible.
Now, again, he said he witnessed the character. Now, he's not just talking about reading the book. He's talking about long term in terms of him knowing her during the course of the relationship between her and Twitch. And he's seen certain characteristics about her, and now he's just kind of voicing his opinion. In other words, look, I never really liked you. Like, you always been a person that I just don't agree with. I mean, I know I've been to your house, you know, I hang with my cuz, but it's just something about you that I knew was off. I kind of seen these red flags, but because of Twitch, I just kind of let it go. You know how you got family members and they might be married to somebody and they kind of off and you're like, nah, this person look a little suspect. I don't know. There's just something about this person. And he's like, you don't say nothing because you don't want to be rude. You don't want to be disrespectful, but you kind of know like something ain't right. It's one of them situations. And he knew. So he's speaking of past issues and he's putting all the red flags together. You know? Let's get back to the tape.
To the point to where we're introducing speculation about your husband, the possibility of him committing suicide to forego the opportunity to do an act against his own son, to put that into the world. And it sounds even crazy to have to even repeat that. But
it is crazy to repeat that.
Put that into the world is the most
diabolical thing.
It's diabolical.
It's sick. Because first of all, as an adult, why would you even think that? Why would you even think or envision your husband being sexual with your son, or doing any unthinkable acts with your son? Like, as a mother, why would that even cross your mind? You would be a pervert. You're the perverted one to even think it. So the question you have to ask is Allison like that? Is she the type that touch kids? Because why is she even thinking those thoughts? You know? Because she could be projecting her own perverted, sick thoughts onto Twitch, which is actually things she do to kids. You never know. You never know what she's doing, guys.
For you to do that. And there's no merit of truth to it. You just literally speculated in a book at the expense of your own kid.
And again, that kid got to grow up to read that book. And the kid is going to ask Ma, why you said in the book that daddy wanted to violate me? Why would you say that about my father? Well, he didn't really say it, but you know, you have to understand, I had to sell a book and I wanted to sound juicy and spicy. Because that's exactly what she did. That's exactly what she did. She's sensationalizing the story to make it juicy at the expense of her own kids, which means she don't even care about the trauma of her own children, the mental trauma they might be having. Remember, they lost a father. So what about their mental health? The mother don't care, guys. She's a narcissist.
So if you're willing to do those things, if you're willing to go to those lengths, there's no telling what you're willing to do.
And that's the part that Zach need to make more follow-up content in terms of there's no telling what you would do. Well, if she would do that, that means she is capable of murder. But for whatever reason, it's as if Zach wants to ignore the fact that Ringo TV been saying this since day one. And it's like he's trying to do what I've already done. It's almost like he want to tell the story. It's almost like he want to say, hey, guys, I believe now that, you know, there's foul play. I believe Allison did it. And now everybody in his comments is praising him like, wow, I can't believe that you're such a good cousin, man, for real. No, you should have just said, go follow Ringo TV's platform because he been said this. And just tell the people, you know, you've been watching Ringo TV and I've been breaking down these videos and you're convinced now that there was, in fact, foul play because you've been watching the content. You just got to swallow your pride, brother, and just let the world know you watch my content because you mentioned the very chapter in the book that I talked about. It ain't like you're holding a book in your hand. It ain't like you're reading from the book. You most likely don't even own the book. You watch my videos. So tell your audience about the work that we do over here. Because Gail King is never going to help you, right? The media is not going to help you. It's the social media influencers that actually care about the case of Stephen Twitch Boss that are actually capable of bringing awareness to these stories. The reason why the people are here, the reason why the people watch is because they want to know the truth. But the way you guys are moving, it don't suggest that you're focused on his justice. It seems like you're focused on something else, and I can't rock with that.
So, to that end, I don't trust you.
You see that? He said he don't trust Allison Holker. Now, you have to understand, guys, those are strong words. For Zach to say he don't trust Allison Holker, you have to understand he's cut off for life. You understand? Now, when it comes to how white folk move, I don't know how they move per se in terms of how they feel about those words. I know how usins work. I know how a black man or a black woman think. I know, because I know usins. So when he say, I don't trust you, you have to understand how she receives that. Do you really think she want to be around him? Nope. Do you think she want the kids to see grandma now after that? Nope. No. It's not going to work. I remember I was doing a video and a white guy came in there and I was talking about white women and he was saying something about, no, that's not how they are. They're like this. And he explained exactly how they are, how they would respond in a situation. Because only a white man understand a white woman. You know what I mean? Only a white man understand. Unless you're you could be a black guy with a white woman and you still don't really understand her culturally. You really don't. It would take her brothers and cousins. They would have to put you on. They would have to put you on. It's just like if you're dating a woman from Brazil and, you know, whatever, you don't understand her, guy. You just don't. You got to be with her for years and years to figure her out. Because you might say something and think that you're being nice, but it's offensive to her. This man got on the air and said, I don't trust you, to Allison Holker. Now, I don't trust Allison Holker either. But if you're going to say that, Zachary, you need to also say that there was foul play. Because if you don't trust her, that means she's capable of murder. And I know it's tough for you to be straight and say what needs to be said, but this is the reason why the Boss family is having trouble right now raising money. It's because people are watching my videos. Trust and believe that, guys. They're watching my videos and they're hearing me say straight up and down, do not send not $1 to this GoFundMe. Trust me, the reason why that GoFundMe is not going up is because Ringo TV, you know, the guy that was on the case from the beginning, he's telling people, don't send no money. And people are listening to my videos, they're watching my breakdowns, and they're like, you know what, you're right. The money is not going towards justice for Stephen Twitch Boss. It's basically the family just looking for money to waste. It's not going towards no investigation. It's not going towards nothing. They're not interviewing with the right people. They're not asking the right questions. They're not doing anything that could show the public like, okay, we could back the family financially because they're doing the work. And we see them doing the footwork. They're stepping on toes. They're doing what they got to do to get the word out about Twitch's death, but they're not doing it. So why are you sending money? For what? To help them pay off the vehicle? To help them with the mortgage? We don't know where that money is going. We have no clue where that money is going. Because I don't hear about no attorneys. I don't hear them doing no interviews. I don't hear them doing anything. They're not on a crusade letting the world know that they believe there was foul play. Come on, man. This don't make no sense. And I'm all for supporting a cause if it's going towards what the cause is for. This cause with this help the Boss family protect Stephen's legacy is vain. It's vain. There is no legacy if you believe he took his own life. The Boss family would have to come to the public and say, look, there was foul play. We believe he was murdered. We want the case of Twitch to be reopened. There needs to be an investigation. Something happened to Twitch, and we need his story to be told. That's what you guys should have did from the beginning. Y'all burned down a lot of damn bridges, especially with the content creators like myself. Y'all burned down these bridges because I could have been literally putting y'all story out there and bringing awareness to this like no other content creator. There's no other content creator on social media that have been dedicated to Stephen Twitch Boss story other than Ringo TV reactions. Nobody. And like I said, I'm standing for Twitch's justice from enemies that are both foreign and domestic. Just because you're family, just because you're blood, does not mean that your best interest is focusing on justice for Twitch. You could be a blood relative, you could be a family member, brother, cousin, whatever. And yet your agenda is not focused on justice for him. For all we know, y'all don't even care he dead. Y'all just focusing on what y'all can get while y'all living. I don't know. And I have every right to speculate. And I have every right to question your motives. You know why? Because I don't know you. All I know is that Twitch died and somebody murdered him. And I don't see his own blood family focus on who killed him. We heard Zach say from his own mouth that he went to therapy, did this, and every time he would say the S word, his spirit would cringe, and he just didn't believe that. So if you didn't believe that your cousin took his own life, that means you believe he was murdered. So the question, Zachary, is this: who murdered him? And why? And why you're not saying nothing? Why Mama Boss not saying that? Why they're not saying it, but you're saying it? Is it because you didn't sign the NDA, so you feel comfortable saying what you said? So are you telling me Mama Boss and Dre can't say what you said, but only you could say it? Come on, man. Y'all got to stop being scary and come out here and tell the damn truth. Come on, man. Let's get back to the tapes.
And I believe at minimum, the due diligence for us, now that we've gotten to a place, and I'm grateful for it, we gotten to a place to where we're able to now continue to respect Connie, and we're able to move forward as a unit to determine where your character meets reality.
See, you're talking about her character and what meets reality, but you're not talking about justice for Twitch. You're talking about respecting Connie, but is Connie respecting her son? You see? Where is the justice for Twitch? He was murdered. You know deep down in your knower that there was foul play. Why aren't you voicing that in the algorithm? Again, shame on the Boss family for not speaking the truth, guys. I got to call it what it is. I can't sugarcoat this, guys. When I see something that's not looking right, I'm going to speak on it. My job is to speak the truth. My job is to review the content, do my reactions, influence the people with understanding and educational topics. And that's what I'm doing. I just don't see what's the holdup. You guys know something ain't right. And here's the thing, Zach. If you believe that there was foul play, then guess what? Dre also believes the same. And Twitch's mama believed the same. And it is also said that Twitch's grandfather or something along those lines, he never believed the official story from the beginning. I think we did a video about that as well back 2 years ago when we talked about the Granddad or something along those lines where he didn't believe that he took his own life. And that could be a reason why Allison Holker is upset and wanted to force this NDA and concluded that maybe the family is speaking out. Remember, Twitch's mom and Dre said that in the Gail interview that Granddad or something along those lines, I guess he spoke out about something. Well, why would Allison be upset with him? It's because Grandpa probably spoke the truth. Grandpa most likely knew that there was foul play. And once he said that, Allison marked him as the black sheep of the family. Are you seeing that, ladies and gentlemen? Because with the wisdom of Grandpa, Granddad knew something wasn't right because he knew Twitch from a young boy. He knew who he was and knew this young man is not capable of this. So once Allison recognized that, and I'm going to have to probably dig up the old video and the old news article to talk about Granddad and what he felt so that we could bring that back to life. Because that's the reason why Allison Holker is upset and why the NDA came forward. Because why? Granddad recognized that there was foul play. He was the only one in Twitch's family that had the balls to speak. And when he spoke, that's the first thing that got Allison upset. Why would Allison be upset that Granddad believed there was foul play? Come on. Why would Allison Holker be upset with Granddad? Shouldn't she be happy that Granddad believed there was foul play? Why would you be angry about that? That mean he's keeping hope alive that Twitch didn't. The reason why is because if Granddad believed there was foul play, that goes against the official story, which is going to mess up her new book. Do you understand? By the pure fact that the family is talking about possible foul play, that interferes with the success of her book, her memoir. Do you understand? Now imagine if the whole entire Boss family agreed with Granddad. Her book wouldn't be doing well because it'll be a disagreement between the families. That's why she did the NDA. Come on now.
And I'm grateful for that. And I'm hoping that anybody that sees this and can see, it for what it is, that you be willing to, like I said, we're regular people. We don't have money to just, go out and obtain legal representation. That's why we established a GoFundMe. So
legal representation for what? It's not for Twitch's justice. Legal representation for what? It's not going towards justice for Twitch. It's going towards emotional stuff regarding a book and a family feud. That has nothing to do with us, sir. That's why I don't want no parts of that. If you guys are not focused on the real issues, nobody's going to take you serious. It's been 2 years, and you guys have not stood up and stood firm on the fact that there was foul play and Twitch was murdered. And you know what's so sad? The longer you guys take on speaking the truth, the more the people are going to see you for who you really are. They're going to look at you just like they see Allison Holker, just trying to make $1. Because nobody should be setting up no damn GoFundMes if they're not speaking the truth in regards to Twitch being murdered. If you're not speaking the language of there was foul play and you want the case reopened, don't talk about GoFundMes. Because I'm going to be right there at the front line. I'm going to be at the front of the line telling the people, do not donate to that GoFundMe. Don't do it. Do not waste your money if it's not going towards justice for Twitch. It don't make no sense. Let's get back to the tapes.
You're, one of those people that see this and you want to attach yourself to our cause.
Don't attach yourself to their cause because it's their cause. It's not Twitch's cause. Don't do it. Do not attach yourself to their cause if it's not Twitch's cause. They want you to attach yourself to their family feud. They're not focused on justice for Twitch. They're not focused on reopening the case. They're not focused on they believe there was foul play, that Twitch was murdered. They're not speaking that language, fam. Come on. He's doing promotional campaigning for the GoFundMe. That's the only reason why he really made that video. That's his way of trying to get the word out there so that people from his platform can begin to donate money out of emotion, not out of logic, of studying the story. I know the entire Twitch case from beginning to end. I can literally stand in front of a microphone and tell you the entire Twitch story from the beginning to the end without looking at no literature, no videos, no nothing, because it's already in my mind. It's filed in my mind. I know the story already. Let's get back to the tapes.
I'd ask that you donate to our GoFundMe.
No.
And so that we can seek resolution.
You cannot seek resolution if you're not fighting for Twitch's justice. I told you 1,000 times. You can't. You cannot seek resolution to a problem that is not ours. The resolution that you're fighting for is not for Twitch's justice. It's for something else that has nothing to do with researching the case. You understand? That's where I draw the line.
I think it's coming from a very warranted place, and I think it's going to uncover things that we never knew,
The things you never knew is in my videos. The things you never knew is in my videos if you watch the tapes. Just like the things you never knew, you learn from my videos regarding the fact that Allison said that Twitch allegedly killed himself because he thought he was going to do the unthinkable to his own son. You got that from my video, Zach. You got it from my video. You didn't just go buy her book and turn to chapter 13 just to say that on your platform. You watched my video. Imagine if I could get Granddad on the show, guys. Do Granddad have a platform? If anybody know if Granddad got a platform, let me know. Send that information to me. Maybe I could get Granddad on the show. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be a treat? Granddad is on Ringo TV telling his side of the story. That would be amazing. Let's go.
I never even thought we needed to search for her. But in lieu of all the events that have transpired, I believe it's very necessary. So again, thank you for your support always. And we hate that things have come to this, but I believe it's very necessary. So continue to pray for us. And like I said before, we're standing for Stephen. We are the Boss Family United. And
how could you stand for Stephen if you're not fighting for his justice? It doesn't make any sense.
Long live Stephen Lavelle Boss.
See, you're saying long live a man in whom the family believed took his own life. That doesn't make any sense, guys. Doesn't make no sense at all. So, that being said, we're going to get up on out of here, guys. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Appreciate everybody that support the show. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Right? If you'd like to support the channel financially because you like my work, consider donating via Cash App, $ Ringo TV Raw. It's pinned at the top in the live chat. That being said, we're going to get up on out of here, take care of some business. Shout out to Marcus for the Cash App. Appreciate you for your support. Denise, Sheila, and Angel. Now, you got some people, they be sending me Cash Apps. And they be sending me Cash Apps with emails on it. I'm not going to email you just in case. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, people literally be sending me Cash Apps with emails on it as if though I'm just going to go email them. I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? If you're a human being, do the logical thing and reach out to me via Instagram like an adult and show your face. Right? So that being said, we're going to get up on out of here. Appreciate everybody stopping by. We're going to continue to do what we got to do. Come back later on with more content. And it is what it is. So if you like the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Click that like button, notification bell. Tell a friend about the platform. Make sure you watch the playlist. It's in the community section where I post. Just look for the section that says posts. And you'll see the playlist with over 70 plus videos regarding the Stephen Twitch Boss case. Share the playlist with a friend. Tell them about it. Because for whatever reason, the Boss family don't care about the work that we do over here regarding the case. And it's unfortunate because I would have welcomed them with open arms. You know, anything for the justice of Stephen Twitch Boss if his family is on board and they understood the assignment. But it doesn't appear as if though they are concerned with that, especially when they have people like Manny Cross in their ear speaking negativity about my name. It's always good to hear from the horse's mouth. Never listen to an outsider who is not even a part of the family like Manny Cross. Always do your research first. So to Twitch's family, do your research. We're out of here. Peace.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $ Ringo TV Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/Ringo TV Raw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at Ringo TV Raw.
This is Ringo TV Reactions, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth 100% raw and uncut. I'm out. Peace.